And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for being here tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over social media, mainstream media, everywhere. There's a whole lot going on. My favorite story, not because the guy was victimized, but just everything about the story was just, it was golden. It was poetic justice. The city councilman in Atlanta who wanted to defund the police to the tune of $73 million gets carjacked. And who does he call right away? He doesn't call his cousin and them from down Boulder Crest. He doesn't call the Orkin Man. He doesn't call Ghostbusters. He doesn't call on the Lord. Who does he call? He calls the police right away. But sir, I thought you wanted to defund the police. Why are you calling them? We'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit. Also, the jankiest hate hoax ever. It's like, sir, if you're gonna draw a swastika, at least try to draw it properly. Just maybe. If you're gonna do something like that, then do it right. We'll talk about that as well. Also, the BLM co-founder resigning from some random entity. What's it called? Black Lives Matter Global Initiative Foundation, something like that. I'm not even really sure what it's called. It doesn't really matter. We'll talk about all those topics and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank you all again for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed what you have heard so far, if you enjoyed the content, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. We got a whole lot going on. There's a whole lot happening tonight. First things first, I kind of want to talk about the woke councilman because I'm going to get to the BLM stuff a little bit later and dig into that. And let's get into the woke councilman. Now, matter of fact, hold on. I'm going to save that for a minute. I'm going to talk about the janky hate hoax. Now, did you guys see that? That had to be the worst hoax I've seen in a long time, maybe in my whole life. And this time, it was a little bit of a twist because normally when you see a hate hoax, it's a person that, how can I say, it's the person that calls the police that is the hoaxer. Prime example, the most famous hate hoaxer of all time, in my opinion, is Juicy Smollett. This man had a whole comedy routine by Dave Chappelle done in his honor. He got memed to death all on. Man, this like this right here, what you put on South Park. It's big to the point where you can't ignore it. This guy went all out. I understand Juicy Smollett is part of a Hollywood family. His sister is Journey Smollett, and she was a child star. Been in a bunch of movies. I think she's currently in a TV show right now called Underground. I'm not sure if that's still on or not. I don't watch TV really. All I really watch is HGTV, news, and the occasional sports when they're not talking about Black Lives Matter every 5 minutes. But anyway, I don't know, but I know that they are a pretty well-known family in the Hollywoods. But this guy took his Hollywood knowledge to the next level. He was the casting director, the actor, the executive director, the producer, all of that in the hate hoax. But it's like, all right, sir, if you want to be the casting director, maybe try to cast the parts better. You want to try to get these big bodybuilding Nigerian guys that you know that were already on TV with you before on the show called Empire, guys that are your personal trainer, allegedly, guys that are your supplier of illicit substances, allegedly. You want to get these guys that's darker than me to play two white supremacists wearing MAGA hats, and you want to send these guys out to go get the supplies. It's like, sir, shouldn't you have people that go do that for you? Shouldn't that be part of what a casting director or a producer would be able to do rather than having, it's like, how you going to have Spike Lee tell Denzel Washington to go out to the store and get some stuff for his role? It's like, nah, when Denzel gets there, wardrobe have all that ready. So, and being cheap, this guy, Juicy Smouye, had the stars of the hate hoax that was going to be captured on some security camera. He had them go out and get their own supplies. Red hats from the beauty supply store, some Ace Hardware thin rope. Maybe that's twine. I'm not really sure what that is. He had them go out there and do it, and then they put on this elaborate hate hoax talking about, oh, I went outside to get a sandwich, and when I was outside, they say, hey, are you the N-word from Empire? I don't watch Empire, so why would some racist white guys watch Empire? The whole thing was just harebrained, dumb, and ridiculous, but it was such a high-profile thing right at the height of all the racial tension. It just blew up. So he's like the poster child for all things hate hoax related, and really, quite frankly, all things hate crime related, because when you hear about a hate crime or a thing that could be considered a hate crime, like, okay, a house is broken into and they sprayed the N-word on the walls. When you hear that, you're thinking, okay, that's probably fake. It might not be, but in your mind, in the back of your mind, you're thinking that's probably going to be fake. And as of late, I would say 9 times out of 10, it has been fake. Maybe even 99 times out of 100, maybe 999 times out of 1,000 is fake. So you have that in the back of your mind, and you have other instances. Bubba Wallace, a.k.a. Bubba Smouye, Juicy Smouye's little brother, little cousin, or whatever, his friend with the garage pool, talking about it was the news and they left it in there for me, all this and that and the third. Meanwhile, that same garage pool had been in there for a very long time before that. Anyway, these guys were the ones that were engaging in the hate hoax themselves. And then they called the authorities or whoever to come investigate, and then it was them that was doing it. But in this case, you have the owner of this car lot, kind of like, it's almost like a junkyard, but not really. Kind of like a junkyard car lot type situation. Whatever it is, it's this man's business. He might not make a whole lot of money, but it's irrelevant. It's his. It belongs to him. It wasn't him that said, hey, there's something going on. He was like, all right, we're going to put up some security cameras to get to the bottom of it, because that makes sense, right? If you got some vandals coming to your spot and they're tearing your cars up, they're spraying dumb stuff, let's figure out who's doing this. I'm not saying that it was some white guys coming from the shadows with MAGA hats and bleach, and it's 1,000 degrees below zero on the Kelvin scale. We're not saying that. We're saying something strange is going on. Let's get some cameras to identify who's doing it. So they put the cameras out there at this car lot in a place right by Fayetteville, North Carolina. They put the cameras out, and then the very next day or that night, within 24 hours, basically, they found the culprits, 2 black guys rummaging through the cars, breaking windows, trying to get the cars to crank. And the funniest part is that the owner of the lot said that the boys were probably trying to look on their phone to find a YouTube video about how to hotwire a car, because they were sitting right by the car on their phone. I mean, the dumbest criminals ever. The dumbest. But before they had got captured on camera, they sprayed the Janky swastika. Let me try to find this right quick. I gotta find this for you guys, because this whole thing was crazy. And if you enjoy what you're hearing so far, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it if you did. That'll help me out a lot. I know my man Andy he had it up on his page, but I gotta find it right quick. But if you guys saw that, oh, here it is. Here it is. So let's put it up on the screen. Give me 1 second, and let's go ahead and do it this way. So here's a caption from Andy He says, Vandal smashed up cars at a black-owned auto repair shop in Spring Lake, North Carolina. Spring Lake. They left graffiti purported to be a swastika and a KKK hood. However, footage from a security system showed 2 black males were responsible. And do you see this? If you can't see it, this super janky swastika, like I said, you're looking like, it looks like a spider squashed on your bathroom floor. That's what this looks like. They could at least have drawn the swastika properly. They got, those are like 2 arms. It's like, is this Hangman? Like, what is this right here? Is this a jungle gym? Are these monkey bars? What's happening? This is crazy. Is it a pinwheel? I don't know what's going on. It's really just kind of crazy, really ridiculous looking. It's like they were trying to draw boxes but didn't complete the boxes. Just really weird. And then right next to it, you have this dunce cap looking thing with a circle, and I guess that's supposed to be eyes right there in the center, 2 little white dots. The jankiest thing ever. This almost never happens anymore in the wild. You're not really going to see this type of graffiti from an actual white supremacist. When it's an actual white guy that does something like this, I'm shocked. I'm like, wow, they found a white guy that does something. I'm amazed. Normally, it's hate hoaxers pretending to be white or something like that. And, you know, the craziest part is that people will still mention this as a real thing. They'll say, hey, you know, what happened in Spring Lake, North Carolina? They were spraying Klan stuff on their cars. It didn't bother to see the actual news reports about this. They may have seen this janky-looking swastika, squash spider-looking thing, dunce cap with 2 eyes on the circle, and they may think that's real. Meanwhile, they're not taking the 2 seconds to go research it on the Googles and figure out that it's not real, that it was some random morons rummaging through this car lot for no real reason. It didn't even really steal anything. They're in there smoking Black and Milds, leaving the Black and Milds on the ground. And I think the Black and Milds, that should have been the tip-off right there that it wasn't the white guys. But anyway, I think they got the Black and Milds from one of the cars. So I don't know if you guys know, but some guys will keep, like in high school, that was really popular. You get your first car, and guys had Black and Milds on the little the side panel of the car. They probably had some right there and took them out. They could have been old as dirt, but they went ahead and smoked it anyway. You know, that's probably what's going on. So what you have here are 2 rocket scientists that decided to engage in the hoax for no reason whatsoever. They didn't gain any money from it. They didn't gain a thing. All they got was caught and embarrassed on camera. Why? Just so silly. So it's no surprise that anytime you see something like that, you're kind of suspicious. It's like, wait a minute, I don't know, that might not be what I think it is. That looks kind of iffy. It looks very iffy to me, quite frankly. So that might not really be what I'm thinking. All right. So anytime I hear about, oh, you know, it was a racist graffiti, white guy did something racist, I'm thinking, I'm skeptical. I'm not saying I don't believe anyone that says a thing like that, but I'm skeptical. I need more evidence. I need rock solid concrete proof. If I don't have the rock solid concrete proof, then I'm just not really convinced straight away from the beginning. Straight away. Empty the Black and Milds tobacco and put in the wacky. and it was funny that the reporter was talking about, they left this blunt on the ground. That had me about to fall out in tears laughing. Fall out in tears. I don't think they were making a blunt out of it. I think it still had a filter on the back. So I think it was just they were smoking Black and Milds. They probably were like 16, 17 years old, 2 knucklehead morons about to go to jail over something so silly, unnecessary, completely not even needed. And shout out to the shop owner for not making it be this whole big racial thing, talking about, oh, well, I got targeted because I'm black, all this and that. Shout out to him for not doing that and wanting to get down to the bottom of it by installing those security cameras to see what's really going on. Because he could have just said, you know what, I'm being targeted. It's a racially motivated thing. And he would have been right that he was being targeted, but not that it was racially motivated. Because it wasn't him that did it. It was some other guys that did it and they got caught on camera. So it wasn't him. But shout out to him for just not going that way and figuring out what's going on. When they interviewed him at first, before the camera footage came out, he was like, look, I'm trying to make a living. I don't know nobody out here. I don't know what's going on. He was just kind of like, look, I don't care nothing about that. I'm just trying to make a living, trying to, you know, make a buck. That's it. I don't know nothing about nothing else. So all that I'm not into. He did not make it into some kind of Ben Crump ambulance chasing type thing to invite the hordes of miscreants down to Fayetteville to tear stuff up. We didn't do that. So shout out to him for handling it the right way. 100%. All right. So, Derek said there should be a show called Caught in 480p. Hilarious. That is hilarious. I host that show. Caught in 480p. I would host that show right away. Absolutely. AI says black man has his own car business. What happened to oppression? Ain't no such thing as oppression. Everybody wants to come here. All these Africans coming here deep, and they come into like certain parts of the country deep. You know, Ilhan Omar is a prime example. That's why it really irritates me when people like Ilhan Omar want to talk crazy about the United States. It's like, ma'am, you were in a refugee camp over in Africa. I think Ilhan Omar is from Somalia, if I'm not mistaken. And then she was in the Kenya refugee camp for 4 years. And she got rescued by probably a white family. Not sure what race they were, but a Christian family, and taken to the U.S. Half of her family got taken to the U.S. The other half was taken to the U.K. You were rescued as a legitimate refugee, and you were settled in America. So what are you crying about? What are you complaining about? Got the nerve to want to come over here and scam and do things like that. It's like, look, if you have the opportunity to come over here as an actual refugee and we take you in, how about try not to scam? Don't be a criminal. Don't be a burden on us. Be a benefit to us. Because if you're not going to be a benefit and you're going to be a burden, you could go back over there. Go back to refugee camp. Go back to eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches every day. Go back to the Nutella and whatever else you eating over there. You want to come over here, you got to do right. It's very simple, or at least it should be very simple. But unfortunately, to a lot of people, it's not so simple, and it's kind of weird. All right, it's kind of weird. Now, what else we got going on? Hold on. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the woke councilman that got carjacked in the A. Now, this story is hilarious. Again, I'm not saying that he needed to get victimized, nor am I glorifying that he got victimized. No, I'm not saying that. However, it's just so it's poetic justice. The justice is beautiful. I'm talking about like the most beautifulest thing in the world. It's just like that. But anyway, so the Atlanta City Councilman, who, by the way, is running for mayor, is he going to win? I doubt it, but I digress. The Atlanta City Councilman by the name of Antonio Brown, who also, by the way, is under federal indictment for fraud charges. He said it happened a long time ago before he became the mayor. Before he became the city councilman in 2019. Maybe that's how he got his car that got carjacked from him, the 2016 Mercedes 450 SUV worth $75,000 with a keyless entry anyway. So this guy, Antonio Brown, city councilman, went to a ribbon cutting ceremony for Baskin Robbins on the east side. I know a little bit about Atlanta. I live not far away. I go there all the time. You know, I got family members that stay there. So I've been to Atlanta a lot. So I know people that live there. I know the geography. I'm not going to say I'm an Atlanta native, obviously, but I know a lot about the A. I know that there are certain spots to avoid and certain spots that's okay. Anyway, so he was on the east side on Moreland at a ribbon cutting ceremony. And then for some reason he went to like Northwest, like by the Bluff, if I'm not mistaken, in the ghetto. When they showed the news report, I'm like, sir, you don't know where you are? Anybody with half a brain can understand, okay, I'm in the ghetto. I need to be on point at all times. I can't be slacking, as the cool kids say. I can't get caught lacking. I got to be having my head on the swivel to make sure that everything's A-okay. So for some reason, he pulls up in the parking lot and has a quote-unquote conversation. Now, I don't know why you go from the ribbon cutting ceremony on the east side all the way to Northwest in the hood for a meeting about what? Why are you in the parking lot having the meeting? If you're having the meeting, doesn't it happen normally in the office or something like that? What are you talking about out there in that area? I have several things that I think could be the case. You're talking about drugs. That's big out there, obviously. Maybe you got a little bit of taste for something. You're talking about young ladies that's out there, or young men that's out there. I'm not judging. That could be what you into. Or you could be engaging in some kind of insurance fraud because, again, he's under federal indictment for fraud charges. So he's already a scammer, typical Atlanta scammer already. That's already in his background. So maybe that car you're trying to get rid of, I don't know, but I'll move on. So he pulls up to this space, gets out of his car, and the car is like right next to, it's in the parking lot, it's like right next to the road. You understand? So typically in the parking lot, you kind of pull in one area, you could park in a nice little parking lot. But you in the ghetto, the parking lot kind of bleeds into the road. So he's like right there on the edge of the parking lot in the road where you could just get into the car and pull straight into the street and be gone. So he gets out of the car and talks. Now, apparently the car was unlocked, but it wasn't running, allegedly. Some said the car was running. Either way it goes, the car was unlocked. And he has a push button start, keyless entry. So he's out there talking, blah, blah, blah. Here comes some little kids, allegedly. He said between 7 and 11. That's a pretty big age range, between 7 and 11. But they were kids, apparently, little kids. And he's like, oh, okay, they're just little kids walking by. No big deal, right? Again, you're not understanding where you are. It doesn't matter. You could be a grandma. It could be a 100-year-old lady in a walker walking next to you. That could be a setup. You got to understand where you are. You in Atlanta. The crime is already bad in the city, and it's gotten worse from the scamdemic. So you already know what time it is. You could be in danger. It could be broad daylight, nighttime. Doesn't matter. Here come these little kids. They're rolling up on him. And before he knows it, they're in his car, getting ready to pull off. So he's trying to prevent it from happening. And allegedly, he said that he got dragged half a block before he let go because he didn't want to lose his life. So they took his car. Now, the news is saying that the car was stolen, but I'm going to ask you guys, for your opinion, for your expert analysis. Okay, if you are right next to your car, some kids get inside, they get ready to take off, and you're right next to it, you're trying to stop them, you're trying to get your hand in there, trying to get them from, you're trying to prevent the theft from happening, it's not working, you're kind of trapped inside of it, and you get dragged on the ground for half a block. Is that called theft or is it called carjacking? Because I thought carjacking involved force, right? A theft is like you don't even see what's going on, or you might see it, but you're not really involved. Like with Akon. And the funny thing about Akon is that he used to run the carjacking ring in Atlanta. That's what that song was about, Locked Up. His song was about getting locked up for carjacking. My car is stolen. He had a stolen car, no registration, because he was stealing cars. He was a carjacker. He was a car thief. Anyway, his car was stolen at the pump. He was not actually there to try and prevent it from happening. He might have been in the store or something like that. They got in his car and bounced. That's when the car is stolen. But when you're carjacked, that's when there's force involved and they might try to fight you. Unfortunately, Muhammad Anwar in D.C., the man that was the Uber Eats driver, he was carjacked because he was trying to prevent it from happening. But unfortunately, he was not able to survive being dragged. Like the councilman allegedly was dragged. What happened to Mr. Anwar was a carjacking. And the same thing could be said for the city councilman. Although the city councilman probably he did it to himself because he was not aware of what's going on in his environment. And he called for the police to be defunded. We'll talk about that in a minute. So that somebody says theft jacking. He did not appear to be dragged. That's why I say, allegedly dragged. That purple pimp suit was in pristine condition, but I digress. Okay, so one kid was steering, the other kid working the pedals. Hey, these young boys, I'm telling you, like, don't overlook these young boys. These young boys be 6, 7, 8 years old, ready to shoot. It's crazy to hear something like that, but it's when you in these kind of areas, it's a whole different world. Young boy, ready to end your life. And it's like that. Okay. Yeah, they had a weapon in D.C. That's a fair point. But it's also a thing called strong arm robbery, where you might not necessarily be armed, but it's still robbery because it's a physicality behind taking something from someone. It's still called robbery. But if you break in somebody's house and you take something without there being any kind of physicality involved, any kind of gunplay or anything like that, that's called burglary. But if the people are home and they want to fight, that's called home invasion. It's different. All right. But anyway, like I was saying, this guy, Antonio Brown, the city councilman, voted to defund the police. And the amount was, what, $73 million he wanted to take from the police in Atlanta. But right when he got carjacked or had his car stolen, quote unquote, right when that happened, what did he do? He didn't call his cousin them. He didn't call the Orchid Man. He didn't call 1-800-CONTACTS, 1-800-FLOWERS. He didn't do anything like that. He decided to call the police and had the nerve to complain about their slow response. The nerve. It's like, sir, you talking about you were on hold for 5 minutes and then it took another 45 minutes to arrive. Don't you understand when you defund the police, you're going to have more of that? If you get in a late response now, what's going to happen when you defund the police? How are you going to have a better response time with less money dedicated to the police force? It makes no sense. No sense at all. And people talking about, oh, it's a good thing to defund the police. Why is it a good thing to defund the police? Why would any police officer want to be defunded? How does that make any sense? Who wants to be defunded? You working at a job anywhere. Why would you say, yeah, I want to be defunded? How does that make any sense? Like, it's the dumbest thing in the world. And like I was saying, it's dumb for Mr. Purple Pimp Suit, Barney looking, Tito Puente looking, Mark Anthony looking. It's dumb for him to call the police when he wants to defund them. Nah, don't call the police now. Handle it on your own. Go out there, fight on little boys. Take a trip down the bluff. If you're not armed or whatever, hey, that's on you. You got to figure out a way to keep your life together. You know, you might, and for real, that car is long gone. That car is long gone. It's already been chopped up. And if it's not chopped up, they didn't send it all the way to Mexico by now. It's a wrap. That car is done. It's nowhere near the A anymore. And if it is in the A, it's in a million pieces. They didn't took the catalytic converter. They didn't took it took everything from that car. If it's still if it's still in Atlanta, they took everything. If it's not in the A, then they could sell it on the black market. They could probably just take whatever from it and make it be a whole brand new thing. A whole brand new thing. Albie Shore looking, Matt Barnes looking, the whole DeBarge family looking. I'm not sure if he claims to be black or what, but he has this whole woke thing talking about, oh, and of course, no, the kids are black. That goes without saying. Atlanta's a black city. You in the ghetto. I mean, let's stop playing games. Anyway, he says he doesn't want to press charges. Now, I can guarantee you, if the kids were white, poor or no poor, he pressed charges immediately. But because they're black and he wants to be woke and he's trying to run for mayor, oh no, I can't press charges. Also, going back to what I was saying, he may have some insurance fraud going on. He's under federal indictment for the fraud charges, so this could be an extension of that. Okay, I'm gonna pull up to the ghetto in my Mercedes 450 SUV worth $100,000 and just leave it open for the boys to come get it. He might have actually paid them to come get that car and ditch it and chop it. I mean, because if there's no evidence for the trial, maybe he won't be able to go forward. He calls the police and say, hey, I reported it stolen. It's not my fault. So that could be what's going on with that. But either way it goes, I mean, this is what's going to happen. If you're actually concerned in a legitimate way about the police response time, understand that you're not going to have better response time with less money being given to the police. That's not how that works at all. I don't understand why people think that taking money from the police is going to be a good thing. Talking about, community resources. I mean, you know what? You know what's the funny part about this? If you defund the police and you try to divert money that the police would have to so-called community, ask yourself, who's it going to go to? Who's going to get that money? Guys like Antonio Brown, the guy that talking about he wants to defund the police but call the police when he got carjacked. It'd go to him. It'd go to groups like Black Lives Matter. That's what it would go to, and they would do nothing. They would do absolutely nothing. That money would get evaporated. I said it once and I said it again. Mark Zuckerberg gave $100 million to Newark public schools in New Jersey. $100 million to Newark. And it was a follow-up on that, to see what's going on. Where'd the money go? Did it improve anything? And somebody from the school board or an affiliate of the school some kind of way, one person said, well, all the contractors got paid, all the consultants got paid, but Raheem still can't read. $100 million wasted. You may as well just set it on fire. It's the same thing. Well, no, I take that back. Some of the guys that already had good careers got some more money in their pocket. They got a nice vacation. They put their kids through school. Meanwhile, in Newark, these kids still can't read. You're not going to solve these problems in these ghetto areas with throwing money at it and giving money to people that are not going to even do anything because they can't do anything, quite frankly. What is this? What's Antonio Brown going to do? He doesn't even want to file charges against the guys that stole his car, that carjacked him. So what is he going to do with some money? Nothing. Nothing at all. All right. But thank y'all again for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. Hopefully you enjoy the tan hat. I'm trying to be like Barack Obama with the tan suit because, Obama is the man. He had the hot outfits looking like a game show host. So I'm trying to capture some of that game show host, look like I'm a golf player on TV hosting the show. I'm trying to catch that vibe right now. That's all. See, I got to forgive me on that one. All righty. But what else we got going on? Let's see. Oh, the BLM, speaking about money and things of that nature, going to these people that aren't going to do anything with it. Let's talk about the BLM co-founder, Patrisse Cullors. Now, Patrisse Cullors, I did a video about her before. I've done a few segments on her, actually, how she has a whole real estate portfolio worth $3.2 million. $3.2 million. She has a house. And you know what? When I first heard about her real estate spending, it was just a one house in the hills of Los Angeles, Topanga Canyon. And that was like a $1.2, $1.3 million house. A pretty big investment, for one house, 1.3. And then some said, well, it's LA, houses are expensive. It's not really a whole lot. 1.3 is nothing. I got that in my back pocket, all this, that, and the third. I'm a millionaire. Okay, great. But then there was more houses that started to pop up. Because right when she had that house, I was like, all right, if she spent $500,000 in Inglewood, that is not necessarily that bad. You right there in the hood. It could have been your childhood home. You're not far from LAX. It makes sense, right? $500,000, that's more reasonable. You right there in the hood with the people. You're in the black area. I'm fine with that. Black and Hispanic, but that's a different story. I'm cool with that if you're in Inglewood. So then it came out, oh, okay, she has a house in the hills, but also a house in Inglewood. So, okay, you got two houses. Then there was another one somewhere in South LA, not Inglewood. Oh, you got three houses. Then it was, okay, she has a house in Conyers, Georgia, about an hour from Atlanta, and it has a hangar on it with a private landing strip for an airplane. I was like, oh, okay, so you got four houses worth a total of $3.2 million. Okay, so you got a whole real estate portfolio from being the co-founder of Black Lives Matter. So what is this really about? Is it about the so-called grift, as the cool kids say, trying to get money, trying to just cash in or cash out? Is that it? And then also, she was trying to get house number 5 out there in the Bahamas next to Tiger Woods, Justin Timberlake, etc. I'm like, okay, you and your wife, Miss Patrisse, you and your lesbian lover or whatever, y'all trying to be like, house flippers, HGTV, all of that kind of stuff on your own. Oh, okay. Where's the money coming from? We know you founded Black Lives Matter, but where's it coming from? Now, I did not think that she was actually, what's the word? Embezzling money? I didn't think that. I figured that it was coming from different ways. She could get $0 from the actual foundation she worked for. I think it's called Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. She could take $0 from that and still be worth millions of dollars and still making millions of dollars because she has a lot of other ways to make money based upon the fact that she founded or co-founded Black Lives Matter. She has a book deal. Already has a book out. It's been out since like 2016 or 18. Already has their book out. There's another one coming out this year. I'm not going to advertise that right here because this ain't that kind of show. And she also has a TV deal with Warner Brothers. And she said that she wants to resign from BLM, not because of the rumors that were so-called spread by the right wing, which it wasn't even that, because her own friend, her own people, like Hawk Newsom from BLM New York, is like, hey, you got all this money for all these houses. Where's the money coming from? He was asking questions. Hawk Newsom, a super liberal, black, woke BLM member, BLM leader in New York, is like, where's the money going? Where's the money coming from? So it's not a so-called right-wing attack. But anyway, she's saying that the exit was planned for a year and that she wanted to focus more on the book deal and the TV deal. I'm not lying when I say that. She said that she's stepping down from the BLM group because she wants to focus more on the book deal and the TV deal. So right there, you're pretty much confirming that it's about the money because, I mean, why do you need to focus so much on that? You got to be out there in the streets with the people and black and proud and got to be in the hood, all this, that, and the third, right? That's what they say you got to do to reach black folks, right? To be in the hood with them, to be right there. Oh, but she's going to be in a set somewhere in Hollywood, Los Angeles, making that money. She's going to be having consultant meetings and writer meetings for their book. She'll have marketing meetings to get everything promoted, not out there in on the ground talking about black, black, black. No, because she's graduated beyond that. She does not have to be part of a Black Lives Matter group to get that kind of money. She can just totally quit that part and focus on getting the cash. The speaking engagements, oh my goodness, speaking engagements. Try getting paid $400,000 for an hour of your time, a half hour of your time, and do that twice a week, 3 times a week. Fly a private plane to your house in Conyers and go to anywhere in the world. Take your plane from Conyers and go to DC. You know, you'd be there in about 2 hours, hour and a half, and give a talk up there, and fly right back and be chilling with your wife. That's what's happening here. That's what's going on. Black Lives Matter, like this whole the leftist stuff, it's a big money racket. That's why it's kind of weird when people say, "Oh, you're trying to get money because you're conservative and all this and that." It's like, please, I'm just being me. I'm no actor. I'm not going to be on a Hollywood set like Patrisse Cullors is. You understand? I'm not from LA. I'm not into that world. But if I was, and I was just trying to get money by being political, I'd be on the left. Oh, it's so much money. Listen, Black Lives Matter raised $10.6 billion. Well, not just BLM, but BLM and BLM type groups raised $10.6 billion in 6 months after George Floyd died in 2020. That's more than all the conservative stuff combined, times some. And it's been like that for a while. The George Floyd thing was just a big increase in revenue. But as far as money and all that kind of stuff, it's been like that on the left because they control everything. They control mainstream media. They control academia. They control a lot. We are trying to fight back against that and take some stake in these places. That's our whole fight. We're not trying to, I'm not just trying to cash in. I'm just being me and standing for what I believe in. Some of these people out there, the BLMs of the world, they're just trying to get money, and they're doing a good job at it. Now, I'm not going to hate on Patrisse Cullors for being a capitalist. I hate on what she's doing, what she stands for, her political beliefs, and also by being a hypocrite. You're talking about, you got a book deal, TV deal, but aren't you a Marxist? Aren't you a communist? So how does that really jive together? How are you a capitalist on one hand, but on the other hand, a Marxist? Does it really go together? Maybe that's the, Animal Farm. I got that right there, matter of fact. Animal Farm is right there. Animal Farm, that's what she's doing right now. Under communism, mostly everybody's poor and struggling and trying to figure out how to make it. But you got a few at the top that are doing better than those at the bottom. The bottom, everybody is equal, but at the top, they're equal too, but not to you, but to themselves. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of what's going on with Patrisse. She's an embodiment of Animal Farm. And if you've not read that, go ahead and read it. There's also an audio book and also like a cartoon. Just watch it. Watch it, read it, listen to it, figure out a way to get it into your blood. You're going to need that because that's what Patrisse Cullors is doing. That's what your Ben Crumps of the world, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, that's what they're all doing. You're going to be in the bottom. You're going to be the foot soldier. I'm going to be in the ivory tower. You guys are all equal, equally poor and broke, busted, and disgusted. Meanwhile, we're equal, but not equal like you. We're equal like us. That's kind of how it goes. Yeah, every kid should read Animal Farm, for sure. And thank you, Ken. I appreciate it. You got your distress hat from me in the mail. I appreciate that. But yeah, every kid should read Animal Farm. It's a great read. And I feel like if kids read that book, maybe they wouldn't be so quick to try and call themselves communists. That's kind of a common thing, unfortunately, with a lot of people. They think they're communists, and that shouldn't be what it is. All right. But what else we got going on? Thank y'all for being here yet again. I appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Also, share the video, like the video. And if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. It's free to subscribe. Go ahead and do that. Also, you can listen to this podcast on your favorite audio streaming platform when I'm done. That'd be Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc. A link for that will be in the description box below. The phone calls will be open in about 15 minutes, Mike. So as soon as it's open, I'll let you know. But right now, the phone lines are not open. The number's up there, but it's just not open yet. So I got you in a minute. All right, what else we got going on? Let me see. Oh, did you guys see where I did the video today? There was a fake petition going around where they were trying to get people to sign. It was a fake petition to remove Memorial Day from the federal holiday status. So we know what's going on. Memorial Day is on Monday, the 31st of 2021. And Memorial Day is a day that you honor those that have passed, who died while serving the country. So that's what it's for. And it's a great day. You know, there's been plenty of wars, plenty of foreign conflicts, everything else. And you pay homage to those that pass. You know, around here, they fly the flags at half-mast. It's a respect thing. Now, some are going to say Happy Memorial Day because they celebrate it as a holiday. And what they do, since they got their day off, they may take a little trip, get on a plane. And, if you're going to be on a plane, put your boxing gear on rather than a mask to cover your face and your mouth. You need a mask to cover your jawline so you won't get knocked out. Did you guys see where the flight attendant got her teeth knocked out from an unruly passenger? It was a white woman that punched a white woman and knocked her, and all this right here was messed up. She was bleeding from right there, teeth knocked out. I'm like, good grief. I mean, what? I mean, are you a trained pugilist, ma'am? Did you train under Mike Tyson? Customato, is Customato your dad or something? I mean, good grief. It was crazy. So yeah, if you're going to fly this weekend at all, be careful. People are crazy. You know, and certain airports are probably worse than others. If you're coming from Denver somewhere, like if you're going from Denver to San Fran, I mean, you need to go ahead and just try to get a weapon. if you can, they'd be like, hey man, can I bring a weapon, please? Can I bring some kind of blunt instrument to protect myself on this flight? Because it's crazy. But anyway, people are leaving. They're having their field trips to holidays or whatever because of the federal holiday. You got Monday off, right? If you work in a job that has that ability. So people don't always know what Memorial Day is. They think it's like Veterans Day, where it's for people that have served, that are still living or may not be. Memorial Day is for those that died while serving. People were saying out there in D.C. that it should not be a federal holiday because it's not worth celebrating because America was built on imperialism. It's like, really? So you're talking about, first of all, you're talking about people that may or may not have even volunteered to fight in the war. If you're going to talk about imperialism, let's talk about those that were conscripted into war. How are you going to say, even if you think, which I don't think, that America is a terrible place, a bad place, an imperialist, all this and that, how are you going to fault those that were conscripted, that had no choice? They were drafted. How are you going to blame them for fighting in the war and dying? It makes no sense. They're 18 years old, they get drafted, they go to war and die 6 months later. Is that their fault? Anyway, I don't believe this whole imperialist thing or whatever, because if you're going to do that, let's do that. Let's talk about every country on earth, especially the major ones. Talk about China for a minute. Talk about being imperial. You'll see TikTok propaganda saying that China was never imperialist, and all this and that and the third. Asia was never imperialist. It's hogwash, total hogwash, because China is like a conglomeration of different countries. Tibet was a sovereign country, not anymore. East Turkestan, which is where the Uyghurs are, they call that Xinjiang. That was its own place, not no more. Inner Mongolia was part of Mongolia. That's a sovereign country, not no more. Okay, Hong Kong, that was its own little thing, not no more. Macau, not no more. Taiwan, John Cena had to apologize in Mandarin for calling Taiwan a country, although it's fully autonomous, because China wants that too. Okay, the South China Sea, that belongs to other countries, Philippines and Vietnam, Cambodia, etc. Nope, China wants that too. You're talking about being imperialist. Let's talk about all over the world. Let's talk about, the reality of what's happening in this planet, and not just focus on how bad the USA was. Matter of fact, the USA broke off from the Kingdom of Great Britain and became their own country. So it's not really a logical argument to even make, even if you believe it, but I don't. This is the best country on planet Earth. You should want to celebrate Memorial Day. You should want to recognize those that gave their life for this great country. This is the best country. Everyone that gave their life fighting for it should be honored, regardless of what you think. Regardless of what you think, you hear. My thing is, if you don't think that Memorial Day is worth celebrating, why are you here? We're not Cuba. You don't have to escape. You can leave. Okay, you can leave. Matter of fact, how about this? If we're so bad, go to Texas, walk across the border. Go to El Paso, go to Juarez. How about that? Now, don't do that, because if you go to Juarez, it's just not going to... If you go to Juarez from El Paso, it's just some kind of gringo, it's not going to go well. So don't do that, but I'm just saying. I'm just giving a general statement. If you think that the U.S. is so bad, try going somewhere else and seeing how it is there. And if you like it, go ahead and just be an expat. You could do that. That's totally fine. You don't have any money, you say? Well, I see every day these, poor women and children coming across the border with no money, allegedly. That's what y'all say, right? Those on the left, what y'all say? They don't have any money. They're trying to find a better life for themselves. But that's not even true, because they got plenty of money. They're talking about, I walked from Guatemala. It's like, man, please. You pay the coyote $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to get smuggled into the U.S. each. On the low end, $5,000, right around $8,000 to $10,000 to get smuggled in here. So I don't want to hear this. I'm poor. I'm just a poor farmer. I'm trying to find work. All right, whatever. You got $10,000 in your pocket, U.S. So can I borrow a dollar? How about that? But I digress. So if that's what it is, then that's what it is. But that video was crazy. People in DC, a lot of the the young people, they had the similar talking point about the U.S. being imperialist, and I feel like they get taught that in K through 12 school. And that's a problem. That brings in the whole critical race theory, and it's not just critical race theory. It's also teaching history from a very skewed and biased standpoint. You're not given the full history. This is why, the whole 1619 project, that's terrible, because it's not telling you the full story. I saw the documentary, or I saw a piece of it on Netflix from, who was that, Ava DuVernay. And Ava DuVernay, one of the worst filmmakers that I've ever seen. She was the one that did the MLK movie, Selma. That was a terrible movie. And she had all the pieces needed to make it be a great movie. She had Oprah, Common, big budget, Oscar hype, everything. You got a breakout actor from Africa, David Oyelowo. You got everything you could want in this movie, and you drop a dud, a straight goose egg. It was terrible. It was like a made-for-TV documentary, or matter of fact, like a TV reenactment. If you ever see one of these shows like Unsolved Mysteries, the young lady disappeared from her room on a cold Tuesday night, and then they do a reenactment. It'd be a guy in the window looking all crazy, white guy, disheveled beard in the window. It was like that level of bad for a whole movie with millions behind it and Oscar hype. That's how bad it was. It was terrible. I've seen good movies about people like Martin Luther King, well, Malcolm X. The Spike Lee movie was great. With Denzel, oh, that was fantastic. Get Spike Lee on the horn. I'm not even a Spike Lee fan of him personally, but as far as making a good movie, Malcolm X movie was a good movie, period. You know, and it showed what really happened, and it was great. Angela Bassett, Malcolm X, that was great. But Ava DuVernay, but anyway, she did a 1619 documentary on Netflix, and that was terrible too. There was one part of the documentary I saw where they were talking about a specific stat. I forget what it was, but it was a very specific stat that I know because I've said it over and over again right here on this channel. I forget what it was though. And they said some of the stat and then cut it right when they're going to say the other part of the stat. It's like, okay, you're not even giving the full context. You're not saying the full thing. So when you get taught stuff like that in K through 12, you're going to get indoctrinated. You're going to get false information. So that shouldn't be there. That's why they had the 1776 project to go away from that and to teach real history, to be honest and fair. Let's talk about it for real. Let's talk about how slavery was not only just in the U.S., it was all over the world. Let's talk about how there were kingdoms in Africa that made their sole revenue from the trade of slaves, the Dahomey Kingdom and current day, what's that, like Togo, Benin, parts of Ghana, Nigeria. Their whole thing was about trading slaves. And the funniest part about this is the ignorance of history has African Americans wearing kente cloth. Kente cloth is what the Ashanti wore, and the Ashanti and Ghana were slave traders. That's the funniest thing. That is the funniest thing. They're talking about races, reparations, all that. You're talking about racism here in the States. Meanwhile, you got on the whole kente cloth outfit, and the kente cloth wearers were the ones that probably sold your ancestors into slavery to begin with. That's the silliest thing. But hey, ignorance of history will have you do things like that. Wearing stuff you don't even know where it comes from. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it right quick. I know you guys have seen it. This is very common. This is what the Ashanti of Ghana wear as their natural, as their color scheme, right? I know you've seen that before. I know you've seen it. Go to any kind of little swap meet, any kind of woke person with a little square hat is what they wear. That came from the Ashanti. They were slave traders. But somebody wearing that on their head will tell you how racist America is and how they owe for slavery. Meanwhile, they have on the outfit of those that put them there to begin with. You can't make it up. But this is why history is very important, to understand it in the true sense and not what they want to tell you on some of these fake reality show, documentary type things. You understand? So it's very important. Again, that's called kente cloth. And Ashanti, like the singer Ashanti in Ghana, they were the slave traders. They wore that. Now, I'm not saying the Ashanti are bad people and they're terrible. No, I'm just saying the reality. They sold slaves back in the day. They don't do so anymore, but they did back in the day. So why would you wear that specifically out of all the other African prints you could wear? I don't understand. It's just kind of weird. All right, but thank y'all for being here yet again. If you enjoyed what you're hearing so far, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. I'd appreciate you. Yeah, that's imperialism right there. Exactly. That's imperialism too. But, you know, it's only the United States that's bad and terrible and everything else. It's kind of weird. All right, and let's get to some super chats. Hold on. Killmonger, that's hilarious. Killmonger was the villain. Killmonger was beating up Africans and everything else. Talking about he was like the hero of the movie, please. Killmonger, somebody didn't hear his name, Killmonger, they says, you people never add context to servitude. So you could be a slave and it's not that bad if you're a slave. If you're a slave in Africa and you get sold to a white man for a mirror or gunpowder or spices or something like that, that means it's fine. So an African can raid your village in the interior of the nation and the interior of the continent, bring you down to the ship that the European built just for you to be there and sell you like cattle, like, so a T-bone steak, and it's fine. That's not really, you got to put the context in there. Oh, okay, cool. I mean, people are crazy. People are crazy. All right. Super chats on deck. I'm going to get to those right quick. And then I'm going to get to the calls. Hey, if you want to call in, Killmonger, it's fine, man. I got the calls coming up in about a few minutes. So just hang tight, man. You can call in and it's fine. You could call, Skype, do whatever you want. All right. And let's go to where we at? To the 29th. All right. Shout out to Apple with a few super chats here who says, in Minneapolis in the past month, Trinity Otson Smith, 9 years old, got shot and died. Anaya Allen, 6 years old, got shot and died. LaDavion Garrett Jr. was shot, remains hospitalized in critical condition. Very sad. Very, very sad. He also says, Marshall Taylor Greene spoke in Congress, said there should be a truth commission about David Dorn and Sequoia Turner. Spoke very passionately. Democrat silent. Yeah, they don't want any commission that reveals reality. They want to just use commissions, quote unquote, to attack their political opponents. That's what it's all about. It's all about that, nothing else. Also, thank you, American military veterans, for your service. Also, Dirty Old Man Biden back. Did you see his creepy speech? I did see the creepy speech. Matter of fact, hold on 1 second. It was just like, let me see. It was just like a minute or so. I want to just play it right here on the screen. This is on my Instagram too, by the way. Instagram.com/Anthony B. Logan, ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN. Let's put it on the screen, get a little bit of sound, get it rocking and rolling. You see the little caption, Creepy Joe makes strange comment about little girl.
And, I'm honored to be joined today by Governor Northam and by two great representatives of the Commonwealth, Congressman Laurie and Congressman Scott. And I want to thank you for all that you do to represent these service veterans, because they're devoted to you. The family members, the caregivers, survivors will call Virginia home. I'm especially honored to share the stage with Brittany and Jordan and Nathan and Margaret Catherine. I love those barrettes in her hair, man. I tell you what, look at her. She looks like she's 19 years old, sitting there with her, like a little lady with her legs crossed.
19 with barrettes in the hair, legs crossed, sir. This man can't help it. Old pervert can't help it, man. That's just him. And we told you that when he was running. We told you what he was. We show audio, video from years and years and years. We showed you what was going on. So there should be no surprise there. Nobody should be shocked like, oh, wow, I can't believe you said it. Everybody knows what's happening. Everybody knows what's going on. That's just what Creepy Joe does. That's it, and that's all. All right. And we got more on deck right here. Let me go back to where I was. Also, Lockheed Martin defense contractor making white executives, retired USAF pilots, denounce their white privilege is so humiliating and disgusting. I agree with you. And the girl, I'm not really sure how old she was, but she was like a little girl. Like, we're talking no more than 4, 5, 6, like a little kid. Also, Trump supporters arrested for January 6th denied rights. Thank you to Mountaineer for your super chat. I can't read that. Thank you for that. Also, read Julie Kelly and American Greatness website. Favorite cake, tuxedo, Black Forest, red velvet. I don't know nothing about that. Andy B says, holy lather, Batman, love your soap. Well, I'm glad you love the soap. Thank you for that. If you guys don't know, I do sell soaps. Yes, I do. It's a sponsor of mine, actually. Matter of fact, I had 2 guys approach me about selling soaps. 2 companies, pardon me. One company was just not really personal, kind of like, whatever. But the best company that approached me is called Mission1920.com. Mission1920. And I'm going to put, the link is always in the description box, but they have great soaps. Fantastic. You know, this matter of fact, you got Father's Day coming up. This would be a good gift for your dad. Something real fancy. You know, real masculine smelling. Just real good soaps. American made. I try to get everything American made much as possible. But yeah, so shout out to y'all who have gotten it. I got a few sales on that. So shout out to y'all who've gotten the soaps. Matter of fact, hold on. Can we put it up on the screen right quick? Yeah, let's put it up on the screen right quick. I'll get right back to super chats, I promise. And then we get to the calls. Yeah, you need the soap, man. You gotta wash your hind parts. You gotta do it. All right, so this is my kit right here. Okay, and you might be able to see it. It says ABL's starter soap bundle. See right there, ABL starter bundle. So I'll give you those right there in the bundle. For $26, you get 3 soaps and another one. So you get 4 soaps. And a little soap saver. It's like a piece of wood. It's real good. You can pick whatever you want. But these are good. Mine is oat milk and honey, charcoal and aloe, and French lavender. All great. But you could pick whatever you want for your 4th one. That's just a bundle. You can also get more. This would be a great gift for your dad. It'd be something real fancy. He won't even expect it. He used to getting, ivory and Irish Spring. Do something fancy. So go to the website, Mr1920.com. Check it out. MISTER1920.com. Check it out. All right, back to the program. Let me see. All right. Where am I at? I got quite a few here. Apu says, all right, that one. Thank you to Chad who says Ilhan's daughter is 2 out of 10. I didn't say it, he did. I'm just reading super chats. Apu says, contrast Ilhan Omar with Ayan Hersey Ali. Ayan's number 1. Exactly. Shout out to Ayan Hersey Ali, a true patriot from the same place that Ilhan Omar is. Tartar Jr. says, ABL, I remember your video in April 2019 about Mr. Atsu Nabo from Togo. He's a fine example of all the greatest people coming here wanting to be becoming a proud American. Also from Apple, we got a few who says, love you. That's a Storm Colors, ABL. Shout out to vets. Yeah, hey, I'm just representing for y'all. That's all. I'm not a vet myself, but I'm just looking out for you guys. We're tactical right now. All right, got tea on that. Thank you. It's lit. We got the tea. Apple says, your hat reminds me of Obama's tan suit. We don't have a plan to beat ISIS. President Trump sure did. Do you have military fans? What do they think? I'm sure I have military fans. A lot of you guys been in the military. Veterans are active. Shout out to y'all. But I can't speak for you guys. You let me know what you think about whatever's going on. Has the FBI solved the Seth Rich murder case? Is that even on their docket? I doubt it. They're not trying to solve that case. They're probably trying to cover up that case, but different story, and I'll move on. Also, has the FBI solved the Joy Reid laptop hacking yet? No. Has the FBI found Nancy Pelosi's laptop? Oh, well, they tried, allegedly. They went to the wrong house in Alaska, raided their house, talking about, we thought it was right here because of some Twitter posts. Ridiculous, incompetent. Bar versus Windshield says, Democrats are like horrible parents. They will spend money, do or say anything to get their kid to shut up. Anything except accountability. There you go. JDoes100 says, the kids are catalytic converters. Yeah, catalytic converters, but same thing. I got you. Thank you to Ron Henderson for the emoji donation, the super sticker. Thank you to Eric Burns Marsh, who says, worse than defunding by indicting Officer Rolfe, Atlanta has criminalized policing. Exactly. Very true. Very true. Thank you to Gypsy Queen, who says, please have King Randall as a guest on your live, the Exo Boys. Yeah, shout out to King Randall out there in Albany, Georgia, doing a fantastic job getting them boys on the right path. Shout out to him. Okay. Apple says, shout out to Doug Ripley and all ABL fans. Enjoy barbecue. Nick Taylor, my man. Nick Taylor says, I went and doubt if Brown came to the event, quote unquote, to have the bin stolen. Electioneering, woe is me. We need to do better junk. He's a charlatan. Hey, I'm right there with you, man. Thank you for that. Matthew says, here's a shower thought. Can those affected by the 2020-2021 riots get reparations by BLM and other left-leaning nonprofits funded through Act Blue? That's a very good question. I'd love to see that happen, but we'll see. Thank you to DM, who says, I want to call out Richard Marks for hate against Ron Paul, RuPaul. It says R. Paul. Thank you to No One, who says, hey, ABL, thanks again. Did you hear about the Windham, New Hampshire or NH audit? They are blaming Dust for giving votes to Biden. The votes on the ballot increased on the Biden bubble, even if they voted for Trump. Yeah, I did hear about that. But again, about these audits, I'm not really following them until we get to the end, until we get to the conclusion, until we get to the finale. I'm just kind of like, I'm like John Cena. I can't see it. Thank you to Abraham, who says California is bribing people to get the vaccine, gift cards, liquor seasons, passes, etc. Yeah, I've seen that all over the place. Like Mike DeWine talking about you could be entered to win $1 million. It's like, really? So I'm getting a whole lottery ticket for to put my life on the line getting this shot? No, thank you. Santo Bartes says Harris or a staffer tweeted out from the official @VP Twitter account saying, enjoy the long weekend. I guess it's too much to ask people to remember the fallen that served for our nation. Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier. They don't know what the holiday is about. All they care about is having just a day off on Monday. They don't care. It's about, being there for, it's about remembering the fallen soldiers. They don't care about that. That's why when a guy was asking on the street, do you even know what this day is about? People were saying, nope. Why would they know? Thank you to Anthony for your donation. Shout out to Gamer with Guns for your emoji super chat. I appreciate that. And we got a few more here, I think. Hold on. Let me just go ahead and do a little refresh. And now, does woke military have a chance to get China? The woke military is the issue, but I'm not really sure that China would want to really do anything, because it'd be too much of a destabilizing event for the whole world. Not so much the military, but just how fighting with America, because they always want to fight little proxy wars. Going to the Philippines, trying to fight right there. They want to do stuff like that. They don't really want to battle it out for real. Thank you to Money Fun Star, who says, ABL soap, keep it clean, please. Yeah, keep it clean all the time. And more ways to win. Get some of that soap. Butt versus Windshield says, makers of the vax cannot be sued for side effects, but do you think an employer could be sued for forcing an employee to get a non-FDA approved shot? I think that can happen. I think that might be a state-by-state thing. I saw that somewhere. They were trying to propose it, or it passed, where if you force your employees to get the shot, you may be sued. You may be held liable because now you're violating their personal, you know what I mean? So you can't do that. I've never seen that happen before. So I think that might be an issue as far as the employer. Now, as far as a drug maker, they can't be, because you get some experimental stuff, which I don't know about you guys, but I prefer not to have. If I'm going to take a shot, which I'm not going to take, but if I was going to take a shot, I want it to be more researched and a little bit better beta tested. I don't want to be the beta tester with my physical body. I play a video game or something like that that's on beta because I'm not affecting my body. But if I'm putting a needle in my arm, my chest, or something like that, and it's not been tested properly, I'll pass on that one. Wait till we get to the end and get all the bugs worked out. All righty. Thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. I'm going to go ahead and get to the calls right now. The number to call is 434-658-1220. The number is always in the description box below. Also, right here on the ticker at a certain point, it'll pop right on up 434-658-1220. Let's go ahead and get Skype up and running if it wants to, because sometimes it doesn't. And, it's not my fault. You got to blame the white man that Skype does not work properly. All right. And let's go ahead and get all my settings together and be rocking and rolling. So let's do 724. You're online. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, this is Zach.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going, man? Hey, I don't want to assume your pronouns. Is sir? Is that correct?
Yeah, that'll work.
All right, man. Hey, man, you hear about John Cena?
Yeah, apologizing to China for calling Taiwan the country.
No, not that. No. He's having surgery, man.
Oh, is that right?
They got to reconstruct his spine.
Yeah, that makes sense. Perfect sense.
Right. Yeah, good golly, I'm hot tonight. I tell you what, hey, you remember that the news thing from NASCAR? It turned out to be a garage pole.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the Amazon fulfillment center in Connecticut yet?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, they shut down construction on the site because they found several ropes that could, this is what the article says, that could be interpreted as nooses. Yeah, on scaffolds and steel beams and stuff. So it's probably just for lifting tools and whatnot, And one of them was just on the gate to keep the gate shut.
So okay, are we going to have like Easter egg hunts, scavenger hunts for all kind of things that could be racist all over a work site? Okay, I see an X on the ground that could be a cross, and they could try to set it on fire. So that means that they're Klan. Are we going to do that now?
Well, I'll tell you what they're going to do, ABL. This is what we got so far. The noose some of the nooses were apparently taken to the lab for testing.
No, stop playing. Are you serious?
They're taking them to the crime lab. This is like Batman stuff, man. Taking them to the crime lab. They rolled out the police chief to talk to the media about it. He's like, "Oh, we won't stand for this kind of racism things." In NAACP, they're meeting with workers.
Oh my God!
Anti-discrimination awareness training already. They're rolling them out, and Amazon is offering like a $50,000 reward for any information.
No way! This is crazy, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be another one of these NASCAR situations, in my opinion. Even if it is a thing, if a prank or something, you think they're getting a little carried away with this whole racism thing.
Way carried away.
Seeing racism where it's not imaginary racism. I mean, you're seeing things like this all over the country.
It's so dumb. It's a big waste of time. I mean, we have bigger fish to fry. It's like we're ignoring the actual problems and we're creating problems to try and fight. Rather than fighting the crime that's rising, rather than fighting the opioid crisis, drug addiction, rather than fighting that, we're fighting made up crimes, made up events that don't even really exist at all.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, man. Yeah. Were you talking about Jesse Smollett earlier?
Yes.
Did he ever get his sandwich?
Yeah, he ate it. Like that night, he ate it. Like when the police came in, he had an empty wrapper like on the table. He had eaten the sandwich, and he still had the little rope on his neck when the police came in. It was crazy.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I know he's not getting any white American cheese on that sub. That'd be racist.
That's right.
All right, man. Well, thanks for taking my call. Have a good night.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, later.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, wait, okay, I'm gonna find that one and do a video. So this is Connecticut. Hold on, I'm looking it up right now. You can hear me typing. So Connecticut, Amazon. Let's go Connecticut, Amazon News. So, wow, how did I miss this one? Here's a headline from CNN. Let's I'm gonna put it on the screen. I'm not even gonna read it right away. I'm gonna just show you this crazy headline and the crazy picture that goes with it. Hold on, just let me get it set up. And okay, so you can see it right here. An eighth noose has been found at an Amazon construction site in Connecticut. You got state local leaders, NAACP, cameras, microphones, all of that. Why? Okay, I want to see a picture of the alleged noose. Can we get that or no? Are they not going to show that? I'm gonna find those nooses and I'm gonna put them on the screen when I do. Okay, let's get to the next call. Somebody call you on the line. I'm speaking to 562. Pardon me, 240. I had 240, but I thought it was 562. My fault. Let's go. All right. All right, caller, can you hear me? 407.
Yes, sir. How you doing, sir?
Everything's all right. How about yourself?
Tugboat. Yeah, Tugboat. Live?
We're live on the air.
Hey, all right, my bad. Officer Tatum did. I know you guys used to do dual, like shows and shit.
Hold on, caller. Hold on. Huh? Two things. First of all, I have noise in the background. Can you turn it down for me?
Yeah, my bad. It's your show. I'm not trying to be rude.
And also, it's all good. And also, you can't cuss on the show either.
My bad. I'm not cussing.
Okay, we good. So go ahead, boss.
I was just wondering, like, we're going to have a governor is going to be, in California, she's going to win or he's going to win, for the Republicans, right? And he's already said that he don't agree with them. And I'm not trying to, like, be whatever, devil's advocate, whatever. I'm just saying, are you going to support, Jenner, are you going to support her or him I just want to know how you feel about it. That's it.
Well, first of all, I'm not in California, so I have no real dog in the fight, honestly, quite frankly. I was just saying, right. if Big Bruce, Kate, whatever he wants to, or she wants to be known as, if that's your best option, then it is what it is. If it was me and that was my best option, I'd be out of California. California's losing a lot of people all the time. I would go somewhere else. I wouldn't want to stay right there. But
I'm in Florida. It's the real estate's going crazy here now.
Yeah, people are leaving California in droves. Like out here,
I know.
It's going crazy too in Tennessee.
Yeah, like Joe Rogan did, and everybody else. Like, I'm not being devil's advocate. I'm just trying to ask you questions that nobody else is. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I'm with you
about Jenner, and it just seems like I'm just trying to make the show a little bit more interesting and just act in a devil's advocate kind of way, because it seems like Officer Tatum he's too big now for you, huh? Y'all ain't friends no more?
What are you talking about? I was on the show Thursday, like 2 days ago.
Well, okay. No, that's cool. But his show's you're getting big too now. Hey, does it scare you to get big like this with all these followers?
No.
Because with getting a lot of followers and people, they're gonna believe what you're saying, So you got to like be what you know what I mean? What you say has to be like what it is, Does that bother you at all?
I'm not worried about nothing. I done had the gun on my face on more than one occasion, so what's this? This is nothing.
No, I'm not saying it in that way. I'm saying like people are following you, Anthony. They listen to what you say, and they should, because you're smart, bro. You're really smart, and you always like put it in the right perspective. And I respect you, man. I do. Yeah. I'm just saying, I'm just playing like in a way like a devil's advocate. Like, are you ready for all?
Hey, I don't know what happened. It wasn't me, but the phone hung up. So shout out to the caller. All right. Let's get to some more calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. And please, if you've been drinking, just don't. Just don't. But like I said, it wasn't my fault that the phone hang up. You got to blame the white man for that. It's not my fault. I'm black. I'm a victim. All right. All right, caller, who am I speaking to? 861.
Are you ready, bro?
Yeah, ABL.
Yes.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? It's Paul from China, man. How you doing?
Everything's good, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's been a while since we said I'm able to call in. Yeah, I just want to chat with you real quick about climate change. So I'm a conservative, and I would say that, largely, I think conservative journalists and conservative commentators from my reign, because I don't follow everybody, but from people that I follow, I think largely we have kind of brushed off climate change or treated it as something that's not really that shouldn't be taken as a big deal right now. I know one of my favorite conservatives, Dr. Thomas Sowell, he basically said that climate change was a crusade for people that need a crusade. So that's kind of been my attitude towards it for a minute now. It's not something that I really have taken. I mean, I know the polar ice caps are melting and the water's rising a bit, but hasn't been a out front issue for me like other issues have. But recently I stumbled across Bill Gates's book. He wrote a book on climate change called How to Stop a Climate Disaster. And I've been reading it. I haven't finished it. I'm still pushing through it. But Bill Gates is I wouldn't call him necessarily like a hardcore Democrat, but I think he is kind of left leaning. But that aside, when Bill Gates, I have nothing but the utmost respect for his intellect, liberal, Democrat or not. I mean, I think he's a very brilliant guy. And when he speaks on issues, I don't think he speaks from a liberal perspective. I think he speaks from a perspective of research, facts, data. And his book on climate change has been very, eye-opening for me. And I don't want to go into all the things he said because I don't want to hold you up. But from the way he's talking in his book, man, it's like we should really take climate change a lot more seriously than what we are.
So, I mean, okay. So, do you believe in climate change? Like it's a real thing that we got to do something about?
Well, it's a slightly difficult question for me to answer. I mean, I would say for the last few years, no, because the people that I've been listening to, conservative journalists and so forth, have kind of brushed it off as not a big deal. But I do believe in Bill Gates' intelligence. I don't think he speaks from a liberal perspective like Rachel Maddow or somebody. I think he speaks from a perspective of data and facts and so forth. And his book is making me shift gears to the mindset that climate change is something that is a much more pressing issue where we're taking it. And he's talking about like net zero. We need to get to net zero carbon emissions by 2030, or we're gonna be in some deep doo-doo. So just what do you think? Is Bill Gates' book something that you would take the time to look at? And if you did, would you take his information more seriously? And how do you feel about climate change? I guess first of all.
Well, I think it's bogus. I think people just trying to make money on it. Now, I'm not going to say that we should just keep a dirty environment. That's one thing. Having a clean environment is not the equivalent to thinking that somehow man can control the weather. If we're able to control the weather, then that's one thing. Like if you could find me a weather machine that could just make the the seasons change, then I'm like, okay, you got a point. But man can't control the weather, so all this net zero carbon emission won't make a difference. And prior to right now, back in Al Gore's heyday, like in the early 1990s, the thing was acid rain and the ozone layer. That's no longer a thing. That's old school talk, but it was really going on when I was a kid. Ozone layer, acid rain, and before that, in the 70s, it was global cooling. It was global cooling, then it was global warming, then it was the ozone, acid rain. Then, and matter of fact, the funny part is that they said plastic bags are better than paper bags because paper bags destroy the rainforest. So plastic bags are better because they conserve the trees. Now they're trying to say plastic bags are bad and they're banning plastic bags, and we're going back to paper because that's renewable. That's a renewable resource. You see how they play with words? So it's always something new. It's always something different. They keep changing it. I'm not convinced. I think that this big giant sun that the average person does not really understand how big, that right there controls the weather more than anything. Be over here trying to cut down on plastic straws and using paper straws instead. That's not going to do a thing if the sun wants to just send a flare and wreck the whole planet. So I think it's important to have a cleaner environment just because you want to have clean water to drink and clean food to eat. But it's thinking like we could just change the climate by our actions on Earth is a little bit. It's kind of arrogant, in my opinion, that we think we have that much power over the planet.
Okay. But just real quick, and then I'll let you go. Two-part question. One, like as far as Bill Gates' book goes, one, do you how much respect do you have for Bill Gates' intelligence? Like, when he talks, like, are you like me, kind of like, in a deer in headlights, just soaking in every word? And two, his book is not just his spin on it or his take on it. He's kind of regurgitating his conversations with his, he got a lot of with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He has a lot of scientist friends and physicist friends and chemist friends and all these science friends he has. And his book, he's regurgitating these brilliant men of science and these experts. And I mean, do you think that these people's intelligence and their research and what they have to say should be taken more seriously?
Well, I think that there are scientists that may not agree with his friends. There's like this whole thing about the climate change research. They say, okay, it's 98% consensus that everybody agrees that climate change is real and we got to do something. Well, that's a skewed paper. They only allow certain people to get in there to give their opinion. So who is Bill Gates talking to? He's talking to all scientists, all meteorologists, all climatologists, all experts in the field, or a select few. You could cherry pick people to talk to and get a whole different conclusion than others. Talk to everybody, not just a select few people, and you're going to get a different response. So Bill Gates, smart guy, I suppose, good programmer, good computer guy, but I don't see Bill Gates as a climatologist or a weather expert. Why would I just take his word for what it is? Because he has a lot of money and he's able to compile a book that has the opinion of some people, some scientists in it. I can't just take his word for being able to get every single person on planet Earth that is a scientist or an expert on weather to, give their 2 cents. He's looking at a select few people that he agrees with, and he's giving that to us as the truth, but it's not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna let you go, man. Thanks for taking my call. I'll just say this on a final note. I'll just say that I'm gonna finish his book, and I think he has something to say, and I think all of us conservatives should at least take the time to read maybe one book from I guess you could call it the other side. We should take the time at least one of these type of books before we render any final conclusions. But Thank you for your time, man. I'll chat with you next time.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good call. Shout out to my man for calling in. I appreciate that call. We're respectful. But climate change, I'm just not really. Nah, I think it's bogus. Like, I think it's just the next thing. You know, and the crazy thing about climate change, they talk about, oh, well, they say that we must do certain things, meaning the U.S. Oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to reduce that, you got to reduce this. The dumbest thing in the world is the things that we do to mitigate the effects of so-called climate change. Paper straws, like you guys said, you got a paper straw wrapped in plastic. How does that make any sense? Just give me a plastic straw. You know, the funny thing is that plastic straws come wrapped in paper. Paper straws come wrapped in plastic. What's the difference? It's the same thing. Maybe it's a little bit less plastic, but not really. I just don't understand. Like I said, at one point they said that plastic bags were better than paper because you cut down on the rainforest clearing and stuff like that. Then you said we got to use paper because it's a renewable resource. Well, wasn't it renewable back then when plastic was the wave? So are we cutting down the Amazon rainforest or not? Then they said, oh, well, climate change is burning down the Amazon rainforest and all this illegal clearing. But then when they showed it really, and they had like images from previous years from satellite, it was always the same areas burning all the time for a variety of reasons. Farms, controlled burn, natural occurrences. It was always the same areas burning. But they wanted to make it seem like this area was brand new, never burned before, and it was a threat to humanity, all types of stuff. They're talking about ain't gonna be no more oxygen if we let it go on, but it had always been the same spots burning every single year. So it's to the point now I don't believe anything. I don't believe anything until I do my own independent research, and then I figure out what's going on, or I have no conclusion. So if I can't find an answer to a thing, or it's kind of murky and it's not really clear, I'll just say, you know what? I don't know about that. I'm not really sure about that. I have to get back to you on that because I don't know the full answer. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I think about climate change. I don't think it's really, and like I said, that sun, if that sun does something crazy, it's a wrap. So all this paper straws, it's so silly in the greater scheme of things. But like I said, let's keep a clean planet. Let's keep the environment clean, just like I keep a clean house. I'm not trying to have no gigantic roach the size of a little baby cat crawling my bed at night. So I keep everything clean, but that's not the equivalent to trying to change the planet's weather pattern. But let me get to the next one. All right, let's go. 912, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's going on, ABL? This is Joel Davis Media Network. I called in before. How you been, brother?
Everything's good, man. What's going on?
Oh, nothing, man. I just wanted to call in and talk about share with you some of the sentiments of what happened with Antonio Brown in Atlanta. I think that it's perfect karma that it happened, because he went all those months last year, along with Keisha Bottoms, screaming out that that black people were oppressed and the cops were bad, defund the police, and now they're starting to see that the chickens are coming home to roost because the crime rate is so bad that it has gotten into these high-end areas like Buckhead, for instance, $1 million houses, where everybody can't feel safe anymore, because you got all this high crime rate.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing that too. Like I'm seeing some of the shootouts on the interstate. I saw that the one man in Buckhead got shot and carjacked or something out there, and a nice luxury vehicle, middle of the night. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and I did a story on that this week. Talking about how he also, Antonio Brown, responded when it happened to him, that he feel like the kids need to be either in school or they need to have more after school programs. To me, I feel like you need to have tougher laws and start holding parents accountable and these juveniles more accountable instead of making excuses.
Exactly. And you got to have people that are going to cooperate with the police. He said that he wasn't going to press charges. So if you're not pressing charges and you want to cooperate, how are you going to get these guys in? How will there be any kind of deterrent from doing that? They think, okay, I can do that and I won't go to jail, ain't gonna get in trouble. Well, I'm gonna keep doing it. So you're never gonna solve a problem when you allow for it to happen. And then the thing is, he must have given him a pass talking about their kids. The reality is that most kids in the hood are not going to be carjackers. So you give him the pass to the worst of the worst, and they're not just going to carjack people like Antonio Brown. He might have a lot of money. I don't know what's going on. They're not going to victimize just him. They're going to terrorize their own community first and foremost. So you don't live there, right, in the bluff or whatever that was. You live somewhere farther out, probably outside the perimeter somewhere. But the people that live there, they got to be the ones to suffer. But people don't understand that all the time. They don't really care about that because they want them vote points. They want to be cool and whatnot for those that are going to vote for him.
Exactly. You know he's running for mayor because Keisha Bottoms is not running. So I think that's another reason why that he's not doing that ABL, because he already know that he feel like in his hearts of hearts, if I give these kids a second chance, I don't press charges, that'll get brownie points for the woke to actually make sure I get voted in to replace Keisha Bottoms. And not to mention Akon, the rapper, he got his car stolen a couple of days before that, out there near Buckhead, downtown Atlanta, same area that he was at.
Yep, and that's karma too, because Akon, that's what he was doing before he became a rapper. He was carjacking, stealing cars in Atlanta. So that's karma on him. So it all comes back around. You want to defund the police, all this and that, and you want to be woke, and now you get carjacked. And Akon, I'm not sure what he's done to redeem himself or whatever, but if he's not speaking out against that kind of stuff and just kind of letting it happen, that's karma on him for his past. You can atone for your sins, but if you're not doing anything to atone for it, you just letting stuff go on, then it'll happen to you too.
Exactly. And not to mention, I was going to say one more point, because I know I don't have long. I was going to talk about what's going on with Patrisse Cullors. I think that is karma for BLM and all the people that followed BLM, because we as conservatives told them over and over again that this lady was about being the biggest grifter of all time. So now it's the proof is in the pudding, because now she was scared, she was under investigation, and she hurried up and resigned.
Yeah, no, that's part of it, because like the way they think is that if she resigns from her post, then they can't say that she was taken from the organization. They can't say that no more. But the reality is that's not even really the point. The point is that she wants to be a Marxist. She wants to be a communist. She wants to be out there with the people, all this and that. Meanwhile, you live in large. You taking all your white assistants to some island somewhere, spending $26,000 on the meeting. You getting housed up in the LA Hills and nobody black around you. You're not living what you're talking about. So that's the biggest issue right there. You're just trying to get money and live high on the hog and not actually, quote unquote, do the work for your people. That's the problem. But she's making it be about something else. It's a distractionary measure, in my opinion.
Yep. Now, Mr. ABL, not to get off subject, I know the last time we talked, I was telling you about trying to link up with you to come on our show. I did send you an email. I don't know if you got it or not. I sent it through your website email. I don't know if that was the proper email to send it.
Yeah, that's the right one. Was it the contact at Anthony B. Logan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the right one. I had to look for it because I get a lot of email. I had to look for it, but I will check it out.
Yeah, yes, sir. Because we had Black Conservative Perspective last week, and we definitely would like for you to come on and, maybe tell us some more of your talking points, because we really admire how you do everything.
Well, sounds good to me, man. Appreciate you for the call.
I appreciate you for letting me call in, sir. You have a good night, man, and thank you for giving a shout out to us as veterans.
Oh, no problem, man. Thank you.
All right, brother.
Yeah, shout out to the vets, and shout out to my man. I'm gonna get on that show. I gotta find that email, get on it. I definitely want to do more, shows with others. All right, let's get to some more here. Let's do All right. Can we do
Come on,
9-8 line? You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
I don't know if you got it or not.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Great, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. Hey, I was trying to be the first caller in, and your first caller was talking about the nooses that they were finding on the construction site at the Amazon build site.
Yeah.
And the guy beat me to it, man. But all those type of knots and stuff that they were using on the construction sites is what we use every day when we're working high up in the air and stuff. So they weren't. I highly doubt they were nooses. I mean, it could have been some asshole, or I'm sorry, I don't mean to curse, but could have been some butthead, doing something, but I highly doubt it. It was just hitch knots that they were using to hoist tools and everything else up.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Like I was saying earlier, it's like, okay, you guys want to have like a scavenger hunt, try to find any kind of thing that could be considered a noose or somehow could be considered racist in someone's eyes. I mean, at what point does it become kind of exhausting and ridiculous?
Right, like the Bubba, yeah, and all that and everything else. Yeah, I get it, and I think it's a shame, man. I really do. I think it's a downright shame that it's gotten to the point to where everybody just doesn't trust anybody else, and everything has gotten to the point to where it's so politicized, it's so racially based, and it's just not the way that it really is in the world, in our country. It's not real, man. It's not the way that it is, but that's the way that they're trying to push it, and I think it's bunk, man. I think it's bunk.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, man. Keep it up. I love your videos. I watch you every day. I try to call in anytime I can. And have a good night, brother. And happy Memorial Day weekend. And you and your family have a good weekend and have a good barbecue and all that stuff. I know I'm gonna grill out, so you guys take it easy.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
All right, great call. Fantastic call. Yeah, that the whole thing with the Amazon, I don't know how I missed that one. I want to do that story because that's crazy. It's like, what are we really doing? Anything, just like the Sarah Silverman tweet. Remember the Sarah Silverman tweet where she saw like utility marks on the ground talking about, oh, these are Nazi swastikas? It's like, really, Sarah? Is that what we're going to do? Matter of fact, hold on. I'm going to try to find that right quick. And what I'm doing right now, I saw that tweet from Kamala or from the VP Harris account. I'm just screenshotting it before they try to delete it. But I'm put it on the screen right now, matter of fact, since I have it on my Twitter. Twitter.com/Anthony B. Logan, by the way, if you don't know. Also, Instagram.com/Anthony B. Logan. Search ABL everywhere. I'll pop right on up. Also, the website, AnthonyBLogan.com. Go to the contact page. Everything is right there. But here's the tweet from the Kamala Harris VP account. Just so you know what we're talking about. I saw somebody say it in the chat. Have I seen the VP tweet or Kamala Harris tweet? So if you can't see it, all that it has is a picture of Kamala Harris. This from the official @VP account. Vice President Kamala Harris. It's a picture of Kamala, and it says, enjoy the long weekend. That's it. That's the tweet. 4 words. Enjoy the long weekend, period. It's like, okay, you missed something right there. You forgot something. Memorial Day, you don't say nothing about that. Fallen soldiers or, nothing. No American flag, no war memorabilia, no nothing. People are crazy. Why even? I mean, just save that tweet. Just don't even post it. What's the point in posting that? You've been better off just not posting anything rather than saying enjoy the long weekend. It's like there is a holiday, don't you know? We're just gonna totally ignore that anyway. Okay, I had somebody right there, but I was a little bit too slow to the trigger. Let me get to the next one. Let's go. 956 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, Mr. ABL. My name's Jeff. I hope you're doing well.
Doing fantastic. How about yourself?
If I can't complain. Listen, there was a couple of callers ago who was talking about Bill Gates and the environment. I would invite him to Google the year without a summer of 1816. And that was when a volcano erupted in China, and it sent so much ash into the atmosphere that no one had a summer. And there was massive starvation. So Bill Gates is a fool.
So for context, Bill Gates wants to block the sun, right?
Well, there you go. That's the perfect example of what happens. If there's no photosynthesis of plant life, you will starve. This guy's a moron. It literally, people starve to death. And so that, for him to even question his intelligence regarding the environment is comical. He needs to Google 1816, the year without a summer. Secondly, I live on the southern border of Texas. You know what I get to smell? I get to smell trash, garbage dumps burning, polluting the air because the winds go from the southeast to where I am at. So I get to smell trash burning. Where are the environmentalists in that and the carbon footprint in that? Give me a break. It's a joke. All it's about is money, and it's ridiculous. So just want to throw those two things out there for you and the people.
Hey, that's perfect. Thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you, man. Take care.
He's right on point. The whole thing is a joke. It's a big joke. And I feel like what's happening is that people have kind of taken it up just to make some money. At one point, it was Al Gore talking about acid rain and the ozone. Remember the whole, that was the biggest thing. When I was a kid, I used to read a lot. I read a lot now. You know, I got a few books behind me. You may recognize some of these. I got Atlas Shrugged back there. I got Blade Runner, Road to Serfdom, Animal Farm, a few classics that you should have in your library. But anyway, no plug, I'm just saying. A few Seuss books as well for the kids so they won't have to be reading drag queen storytime books. But anyway, I forgot where I was going. But the whole point is that people are crazy. All right, I'm going to get to the next one. Let's go 480. All right, you on the line speaking to 480?
Hey, ABL, it's Chuck from Arizona.
All right, Chuck, what's happening?
Nothing much. I like the guy you had on there before. One thing that I'll add to his little thing and your thing there is that the carbon dating has shown that our poles have flipped multiple times, the North and South Pole, and that at the moment, if you look in the 1700s compared to where the North Pole is now in 2020, the shift in the North Pole is drastically changing year by year and increasingly moving. So the equator's moving, causing change in weather. So there's going to be massive changes in weather regardless that are going to happen based on the North and South Pole moving, shifting the equator that we can't do anything about. It's happened multiple times. But I just wanted to kind of add that on. My question was, what do you feel right now about the country, and how do you feel about 2022 in the midterm elections?
Like, what do you mean? As far as what?
Like, where do you feel the country's going? Like, I know you're out there. You really, I would say, yourself moving forward that way, but that was going to be kind of my next question. But first question, where do you stand as far as like 2022? How do you feel about it so far, and where the shift is and the narrative is in the country right now?
Well, it's the same thing that's been going on. It's a fight between the left and the right. The left are trying to do things to make the right look bad. They're trying to squash stars that could be rising. They're trying to squash Ron DeSantis. I'm not really sure how they're going to do that because everybody wants to go to Florida. Florida's doing very well. I mean, he's delivered promises. I mean, he's done a very good job. You can't really deny the job that he's done because people that live in California, New York, et cetera, want to go to Florida right now, and it's been like that for a while. So they're trying to squash him, delegitimize him. They're trying to have this whole January 6th commission. They failed on that, but the purpose was to have that and talk about it all the time on the news to delegitimize anybody that's conservative, any kind of Trump acolyte or a Trump supporter, anybody that has any kind of Trump-like ways, like Ron DeSantis. So they're trying to attack us all the time to delegitimize us. It's going to be a constant battle. I'm not really sure what's going to be the result. Say what now?
I was going to say the good thing about out there in Florida now, they made it to where people can sue Facebook and YouTube if they are political figures. They're trying to pass it, I believe, and Greg Abbott out there in Texas kind of doing the same thing. I don't know about you guys out there in Virginia with Northam. I would doubt it that you're moving anywhere close to that. But that kind of brings me to, what is ABL's next step? I love the show. I love what you're doing. You're getting a lot of people. You're going on other shows. Is there any idea on, possibly running at some point or, a bigger platform as far as expanding, bringing other people on? I'd love to stand up out here. I'm sure Brandon Tatum, if you guys got together and, there's a lot of people out there. Basically what I'm trying to say, the conservative guys that just called, I forget the name, but I did see it there in chat that you posted it, which was awesome. There's a lot of people out there. It feels like we're all individuals and we're fighting these big conglomerates of people just putting all their masses of their money together, everybody coming together and uniting on the Democratic side. And this is what we're seeing is, they have big establishment and then we have, great people. It's just little channels here and there, not little as far as, the reach, because the reach is bigger than CNN, but it really was, a bigger platform, which, Crowder and, and Shapiro and all them, everybody's kind of moving towards that. And, I just kind of think for you, are you looking towards, politics? Because I think you would be a great politician and I would back you 100%. Or are you thinking, bigger platform expansion? Because I would back that as well. And I would want to jump on board. So,
Well, that's a question I get asked all the time. I get asked that every single day. And I've been asked that since I've been like very young, like teenage, early 20s. I've been asked that for a long time, even before the YouTube thing, because of how I am in general. So, that might be a thing for me in the future, running for office, maybe, if people really want that. If people demand it, then maybe. But I'm going to keep kind of doing what I'm doing.
Where you're passionate at, though.
I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I think
I love it.
Hold on, let me get it out. I think that I do want to write a book soon, and do things like that. Just expand the way I'm able to produce content. I do want to do more people's shows, more interviews, and things like that. That's kind of what I want to get into.
You remind me. At the moment, I was going to actually suggest, the writing aspect because. I feel like that would be a great movement if you did want to stay where you're at. It reminds me of kind of like a Mark Dice. Mark Dice, awesome.
Yeah.
Did all of it before. And, now he's doing the YouTube. He's enjoying his life, writing books. And, that's great. I love it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I want to go. Politics, I could do that maybe like later as I'm older. But for right now, I think that I'm in the right place, being able to reach people this way. I have more reach this way. I have more of an impact this way than I would be in politics, quite frankly.
So the only suggestion I would give you is you need to pack everything up and move down to Florida and become the local dog commissioner or something so that you can keep your platform, right?
Right on, man. Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Man, my pleasure, man. I hope you have a good night.
All righty, appreciate it. Yeah, but I've been asked that question about politics. I get asked it every day. I've been asked that since I was not even doing YouTube or anything like that. My aunt asked me that randomly. I was in the Mall, West Virginia. I said the story before. I was in the Mall, West Virginia. I happened to be visiting up there. This is like 2012, 2014, maybe even before that. I'm not really sure. But I was up there, and she was like, "Did you win?" I'm like, "Win what?" You running for mayor, weren't you? Did you win? I was like, "Nah." I was at the time. I was helping a friend of mine run for mayor. I was doing some stuff for him in Norfolk. He didn't win, but she thought I was running. And she was like, "Oh well." Even though I said that I'm not running, that's not my thing. She was like, "Well, you could just start small. You could just start doing something, city council and work your way on up." So I've been hearing that, but I think I'm able to make a bigger impact right here. And I do want to write some books. I need to find a time to do it. That's all. Because right now with this YouTube thing, you may see a 10-minute video and think that, oh, it's just 10 minutes, but that might have taken 2 or 3 hours to do. I typically do a video in about 2 hours total time from the time I start recording to the time it's uploaded and you see it. I mean, I type an article, I do my research, I got sources, I just a lot behind the scenes. So it could take about 2 hours to do a pre-recorded video for 10 minutes. But live, I could just kind of talk, and just have it be out there and not have it be so structured as a short video would be. Because with a short video, people want to get straight to the meat and potatoes. In order to do that, you got to structure it in a way to where that's possible. To get the message out there and have it spread, you got to structure it a certain way. But with live video, you could just kind of talk. All right. So, yeah, all in good time. Exactly, John. You're right on it. And if you guys enjoy what you're hearing so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. I most certainly appreciate it if you did. That'll help me out tremendously. And also, this show you're listening to right now, this podcast, will be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether they be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc. A link for that will be in the description box, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search for ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Let's get to the next call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. 860, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony, it's Sonia. How you doing?
I'm great. Can't complain. About yourself?
All right. I was looking up the Antonio Brown story, and I kept getting a football player. I think there's someone else with that name, right?
Yeah, there is. A very well-known football player, very controversial, but that's not him.
It's funny because I thought that it was karma too, and it was such a coincidence that he got his car taken and all that. But then after I saw or heard, I think from you and other people, that he's being investigated, then I started thinking, oh, it's probably just a way, like you said, maybe to get the money back for the vehicle or some other thing. He went to the hood when he didn't have to. So you think he set it up?
Hey, it could be. It most certainly could be, because that makes sense. It's like, okay, you're in an investigation for fraud charges. Maybe you bought that vehicle with someone that illicit money. So if it just happened to wind up stolen in Atlanta and they chop it up and they can't find it, maybe that can be used against you. I'm not really sure.
And the kids are so young, so it might have been something that, like you said, he paid them off to do it. Who knows? I
mean, he could have, but some of these young boys, they're active like that. People don't understand. And when they go down to Atlanta, just like this whole thing with the Atlanta water boys out there trying to sell water on the street, and then it becomes like a gang fight type situation. It's really crazy in Atlanta. So I wouldn't be surprised if the kids just ran up on them and carjacked them for no reason other than to do it.
And then you said something about his purple suit. He reminds me a little bit of that Albie Shore, Christopher Williams type.
Yeah, that right on. It's like, sir, this is a 1985 music video. What's going on? This purple pimp suit, I'm not feeling it.
And speaking of Atlanta, he's running for mayor, and I think Keisha Lance Bottoms is not. I don't know anything about, who's running over there or who even runs on the Republican side, but I was wondering about Keisha because I remember, I think you did a story about her, and she was one of those few Democrats who came out early on during the riots, and she was really upset. And I remember she was really impassioned, and she was saying that what they were doing, destroying the city was not the way, that you don't do it by, looting brown liquor and TVs and other stuff. And, she was saying that kind of thing. And she was really upset. And I'm thinking maybe deep down inside, she's not happy with the BLM stuff. And maybe that's why she's not running again. But she can't say it, publicly.
Maybe, but she's woke too, because she's a person that was mad at Brian Kemp for rescinding the mask mandate. She had a mask mandate in the A for a long time, longer than it should have been. So she's just as woke as a lot of other people, in my opinion. But on that, as far as the BLM riot, she wasn't really in favor of that. But other things, she's woke. Kind of anti-police, not really a good person, in my opinion. But on the BLM stuff, she did have a backbone, so I was surprised.
Yeah, that makes sense. And speaking of wokeness, where can we go to escape it? I mean, if it's not in the TV, it's on a commercial, it's in the movies, it's in the sports, and now it's in my cereal boxes for the kids. I mean, with the pronouns and all that stuff, I don't understand.
You know what? I think what's going to end up happening is there's going to be a bunch of companies that are just anti-woke. People that sell things that are the opposite of what we don't like, and they're going to have success. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it, because to try and force these woke companies to not be that way is not going to be the case. You got to have the competition that just kind of X them out.
Oh my God! And last thing about Memorial Day, I can't believe that. Well, Kamala, she didn't say much, like you said. It wasn't even worth a tweet. But they were asking people on the street, and they signed that fake petition. That was hilarious. They didn't know. Well, they said imperialism and all that jazz. And I thought to myself, oh my God, they learned it all in college. I mean, like word for word.
Yeah, it's like they got the same script, the same exact script. It's like, man, come on, what are we doing here? And that right there goes to the whole critical race theory and all kinds of other things. They get taught false information, indoctrinated. It's really a shame.
Well, then I'll leave you with this. If it's true that women earn less than men, what are they paying all the other genders?
Yeah, what does your created, made up, random gender, how much did they get paid versus men? That's a hilarious and great point.
Yeah, I'm thinking the non-binaries get time and a half.
There you go.
For being both. Have a good night.
Thank you for the call.
You're welcome. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. That's the craziest thing. Women get paid less than men, but ain't no such thing as gender. The non-binary are the weirdest people. I don't know. It's just so much strange stuff going on. I feel like a lot of these kids that do this are trying to get attention. They see that people like Dwayne Wade's son is now calling himself Zaya. What's a boy, 12 years old? How are you going to be 12 years old talking about you transgender or you LGBT? Why are you even worried about that type of stuff at that age, period? What are we doing? You want to play dress up, whatever you want to do as an adult, then go ahead. But as a child, no, we're not going to do that here. You're not going to just wear, and you know, the craziest part about Dwayne Wade's child is that this young man is wearing things that you would not let a 12-year-old biological girl wear. Like skimpy. It's like, who are you trying to attract, sir? You 12, 13 years old. Who are you trying to attract? Who's going to like this? Huh? Like, this whole thing is just weird. Dwayne Wade came out and said he does not lead his household. Well, obviously he does not lead his household because any man that leads his household would not allow his child to dress like that, gay or no gay, period. You wouldn't put that on. You wouldn't put the Magic City attire on when you're 18 years old. Then you go out, get a job, do it yourself. But don't do that while you're here being raised by me. That's it. It's very simple. Have some ground rules and a backbone. All right, let's get to some more here. The number to call, 434-658-1220. 214, you're on the line. Am I speaking to?
What's up, ABL? It's Josh.
All right, Josh, what's going on?
Not too much. Couple things. I wanted to mention real quick the first guy that called about Gates. I think I agreed a lot with the second guy that mentioned Gates. First guy that mentioned Gates, probably just say, read a little bit into the Gates family, their history with eugenics, and, you know, the fact that they do not want that guy to exist might make him think a little bit more about what Gates is saying, where that information is coming from. But anyway, agreed with the second guy just a little bit more on that subject. So, but I wanted to ask you what you thought about. I watched you with Tatum the other night talking about 2020 election and whatever happened there. And I wanted to ask, what your thoughts were moving forward in terms of going out and voting. You know, with whatever happened this last time around, how are we supposed to get out there? How are we supposed to get out there and vote and think that it actually can do anything?
So is your question, how do we repair voter confidence?
Yeah, how do we move forward?
I mean, we just have to. I know that's going to be a thing that we have to really repair. That's the main thing, because people, it's a lot of confidence is just not there. But that's all we really have. And I think that I think that one thing that's happening that I can point to that's a way forward and it's constructive is certain governors are tightening their laws up. I think Brian Kemp did it. I think Bill Lee did it, requiring ID. If you want to get a absentee or a mail-in, you got to request it. You can't just have it sent to your house. Things like that can restore confidence. So we don't see videos online of people getting 8, 9, 10 ballots sent to their apartment with different names on it that don't live there anymore. When you don't see stuff like that, then that restores confidence. When you see the opposite, people are like, well, what's the point in voting? People are going to be fraudulent because there's no ID. You could vote as anybody. It's a whole big mess. So I think that's probably the way to go forward. Just tighten up the laws that exist or don't exist right now to make up for what we had last time.
You think that's going to be something that will be tightened up by 2022?
I think so. Because a lot of that's happening right now. So I think by 2022, it'd be tightened up. Now, certain states may not be. California, obviously, that's kind of a lost cause, unfortunately. I think, to get California back, it take an act of God at this particular point in time. But a lot of other places where it's going to really matter, everywhere it matters, but certain places you have a chance. And I think in these places it'll be changed. So I think it'd be a better outcome. It'd be a better election come midterms.
Cool. And hey, if you write that book, I'll definitely get it, man.
Well, I thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks, ABL.
All right, now take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's get to the next one here. 404, you're on line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony, this is John, also known as JM in the chat. First-time caller, long-time watcher.
All right, man. So what's going on? Thank you for calling.
Hey, I'm calling 404, as you know, calling from Atlanta. One of the things I want to say is I haven't heard it talked about a lot, but with the All-Star game being moved from Atlanta to Denver, Colorado has similar voting laws. Do you think that was done maybe just to take, because Hank Aaron, they were celebrating Hank Aaron. He got the COVID shot and just kind of died, Do you think they kind of moved it just to take attention off of that, off the possibility? Remember last year it was a myth, it was a hoax about China and the virus where it originated. Now it's news, and the mainstream media is even going with it and saying, yeah, okay, this is where it came from. So do you think it's to take sorry, I'm at work. You think it's to take some attention off of Hank and the shot there?
No, I don't think so. I think that it was just because there was a woke wave happening and MLB wanted to hop on the wave. So the wave was this whole anti-Georgia thing because of the laws that they were trying to pass. Although Colorado has similar laws to what Georgia updated their laws to, it doesn't even matter because Georgia was doing it right at the time when it was really hot and it was a big issue. And then it hit the media. So it was PR purposes, trying to be woke, and they're trying to appeal to a certain crowd. And this crowd that they're trying to appeal to, a lot of them don't understand laws of other places. They don't understand laws, period, or the way that elections work. They're kind of ignorant. Therefore, they just rode that wave and moved it. Not even, it wasn't a move that was based in any kind of logic. It was just about how things look to the general public that don't understand how laws work.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, too, because they've opened up attendance, and people I thought would maybe stay away from the ballpark, but they're coming in droves, and so it really hasn't affected the attendance or anything. Another thing I'd like to ask you about is I know we talk about race a lot on the show. Disclaimer, I'm a white male, married to a black woman. We've been married 10 years last week. It's never usually a problem, but sometimes when the George Floyd and everything, she gets really hot. She works at a a well-known government agency here locally in Atlanta. You probably know who they are. 3 letters there. With COVID, she just goes into work once a week, and all her coworkers are kind of similar backgrounds. And man, she gets really hot when she comes back from work. She gets all amped up and everything. But a lot of the thing is with the mask. Certain people, they've just scared so much, and I think her demographic, every time she steps out the door, she's super duper scared, and that's still working, even though her agency, we'll say, has said you don't have to wear the stinking mask outside anymore. What is up with the control? Does that just come from the media? Does that come from the churches? Where is this all coming from? I told her, how I feel and everything, but she went and got her first shot on Thursday, and she's got a history of seizures and everything. So
Lord.
I just hope and pray that, hopefully she's okay. But what's up with the control? You still see all these people, and you can just tell who people voted for, basically, when you go in the stores.
Well, it comes from the media, because the media, they did a fear campaign from the very beginning. Like the message was, hey, if you don't wear your mask, you're going to pretty much keel over and die. So people, they internalize that. I got to wear the mask. Doesn't matter how dirty the mask is. It could break out in hives around the mask. It could be a whole 5 o'clock shadow around their mask line. You could be a young lady with that. It doesn't even really matter, because they've been told that this mask is going to protect them. So they're going to wear it regardless. And it's even to the point now where the same people say, hey, if you've had the shot, which a lot of them have had the shot, don't wear the mask anymore. You're good money. They're not even believing it, because the initial programming worked so well. They have pretty much, it's almost permanent. So it's like they keep it on forever. People are still in their house barely leaving because of this whole thing with the quarantine and whatnot. It's crazy. The media ought to be shading themselves for doing what they do to people all the time.
Yeah, I believe that. My neighbor across the street, she's a PhD at one of the HBCUs there, and she hasn't left her house since last March.
Oh my
We've
goodness!
Seen her come to the door one time.
Still right now to like almost in June 2021, she's still doing that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy. And then we have mainly. I'm not sure. I've talked to different people. I don't remember which countries, but a lot of African neighbors, African immigrants, we'll say. And, a lot of them are into maybe the Kenyans. They like to jog and stuff. I've got a guy here I see every morning, same time, a little bit after 6 a.m. He's running, seriously running, marathon or 10K at least training with a mask on as he's running. The N95.
Wow.
I can't breathe with a mask on. Just at work, but and I don't wear them at work when I don't have to, but it's insane.
That's really insane. But I tell you what, though, if you have an N95 mask while running, that's probably a crazy cardiovascular workout, because you can't breathe at all. I mean, you're training for something else. He might be doing some kind of military type training, because that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Certain companies, they make certain masks that have, they're made for that. They have a certain breathing apparatus, but this is a straight up Home Depot, Lowe's N95 that supposedly has a tight feel. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I don't want to take any more of your time. I'll get back on the stream and listen. Just want to shout out to Doug Ripley and Atomic Tabasco and some of the other people in the chat. Lil K, if she's out there, and boom 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 Howard, man. We'll see you, ABL.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
All right, bye.
How are you going to jog with a mask on? You got an N95 mask. You're not going to be able to breathe. You're not breathing. Did you guys see? I put the video a while back when it happened, probably about some weeks ago, some days ago, whatever that was. A young lady, I guess she was on a track team in high school or college, was running and just passed out. Boom, hit the ground. Sack of potatoes, ton of bricks, hit the ground, because she couldn't breathe because her mask was blocking her airway. It's like you're going to need to have your airway open if you're jogging and running and things of that nature. You got to be able to breathe. Oxygen is your best friend. Let's try to get some of that in your lungs. It's not a very difficult thing to understand. It's really simple. Audio line, I'm speaking to 207.
Hey, ABL, it's Mike versus everyone on the YouTubes. How you doing, my man?
I'm great, man. How about yourself?
Doing good. Can't complain. So, a couple things I wanted to touch on real quick. Oh, happy Memorial Day weekend, by the way.
All righty.
So I know you got a few calls about those nooses in the Amazon warehouse. Mark Dice did a great video on that today, and bizarre thing is it shows all the pictures of them, and I mean they're clearly not nooses in there. There's a reward for information leading up to them. Like, what are the guys gonna do? Go up and say, yeah, I tied this to lift some tools up on the, up another floor. That it's so bizarre that these people, everything is. I mean, the ropes laying on the ground. If you watch Mark Dice's video, you can tell they're just ropes laying around. One of them's tying a fence together.
I mean,
so if you want to see,
yeah, go ahead.
If you want to get some more info, just check out Mark Dice's video. It covers it so funny.
People are crazy, just trying to find any little thing anywhere and say, "Oh, that's racist. That's racist." It's just not. People need to stop with the nonsense. Stop the madness and get back to reality.
Yeah, it's real bizarre. And another thing, when that guy was talking about climate change, so I'm thinking, okay, if they want everybody to take climate change seriously, they got the climate czar, John Kerry, flying all over the world in the private jet and making excuses for it. They're all rolling around in their big SUVs and living on their beachfront property. They're not doing anything about it, but they're telling us to do something about it. So I'm good with all the climate change stuff until they start, until I see all these other people that are barking at us about it doing something. Okay, that's when maybe I'll rethink this whole thing,
Right, exactly.
And the last thing was, so the video you did earlier when you were showing those kids talking about Memorial Day, well, not kids, but just young adults talking about Memorial Day and how it should be, they should scrap it because of imperialism, all the garbage they were saying about it. The funniest part of that, and you caught it too, was when that kid said, yeah, I used to never believe, I used to love Memorial Day, but I went to college and I took women's studies and gender studies. And then I came out, F America, he says. It's like, what? So that just kind of, that just laid out everything on the table that everybody knows, that these colleges are basically indoctrination camps to teach these kids to hate America and critical race theory and critical gender theory and all this other stuff.
That's right.
And is there any, I mean, it's kind of a stupid question, but there's nothing we can do about that to stop these colleges from doing that, is there? I mean, obviously not, but
well,
what do you do?
the main thing is you got to be able to compete. Have colleges that don't do that. Like that's it, because we got to be, and we got to be there. We have to be in these environments to try and change it, because if we just let them have it, let the left have it, then they'll make every place of higher learning the same. You have to be there and change the culture, and not we can't have them dominate it. You got to change the culture ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy. A guy that lives in the state I live in, he's in a small town a few towns away from mine. They're starting critical race theory in his daughter's school, and he fought against it. He was actually on Tucker Carlson, a real small town up in New England. He was actually on Tucker Carlson the other day talking about how he's fighting back against it, and the school just kind of shut him down and stopped letting him come to the school board meetings, and they basically just canceled him so he couldn't talk. But at least now he's getting a national platform on Tucker Carlson talking about it to make some waves. So I guess that's the best way to shut it down, is to like you said, do the same thing they're doing.
Right on.
All right, ABL, I appreciate it, man. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and like I said, keep doing what you're doing. You're opening eyes and changing minds, so take care.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
All right, bye-bye.
All righty. Got quite a few more calls on deck. I'm going to get to those. Y'all just hang tight. Let's go. Okay, can we do 786 on the line? Who am I speaking to?
Wait, hello?
Yes.
ABL?
Yes.
Yo, my ABL, this is a kid from last time, 15-year-old. Yo, ABL, I've been calling you for the longest.
Well, I'm glad you got through, man. What's going on? You're breaking up, boss. You're breaking up.
Yep. So this is what they do. They take, this has been going on since the 1960s, when the Soviet Union and America was beefing in the Cold War. This is what they did. They used that they went into the college and universities and started stirring up stuff. Because you didn't see none of the Malcolm X riots and all that stuff happening before the Cold War. But now you start seeing it. That's because these communists, they started messing with the you know what I'm talking about. They're messing with the schools and internet. And there's a lot of stuff. You ever heard about the Russian guy, the Russian spy in 1980, ABL?
What was this now? Russian spies where?
Yeah, it was a Russian guy. He used to work for the Soviet Union. He was a KBC agent. And he was talking about the demoralization and how they started demoralizing people in the Soviet Union. They started demoralizing people in the United States of America using spies. And there's the communist organization in America that came and used Hollywood and used all that stuff. So that's why we see all these kids nowadays. It was slowly poisoning us with communism and Marxism. So now we got kids like my cousins who openly supports Marxism, like, and nobody says anything. We have kids that are so stupid that they don't know the basics of life, let alone economics. This is what they want, and they use the school education system as well. And that's what I was going to talk about as well, BL. Like, the school education system is so stupid. It don't make no sense. I could talk to a gifted kid, and I'm on the same level, even higher than gifted kids, but I don't get to go to the same class because I get the kid score high on this test. This is what they do. They measure your smarts based off of tests. So they group you up in this is the advanced class and these the dumb kids class. That's what they do rather than actually wanting to help people and help people learn at their own pace. They want you to just repeat the same garbage that they want you to say. And it's similar to the Roman education system back in ancient Rome, where the Romans, they're a warrior class. So they encourage, like, to be a politician in Rome, you got to be military. But the Greeks, they encouraged free thinking, but the Roman system didn't. And that's the same thing with the American school system. But how you feel about the American school system, though, BL?
I mean, it's flawed in a lot of different ways. And certain places are better than others. Certain school districts, certain cities are better than others. So it's definitely flawed, deeply.
Yeah, very flawed. And I thought, let me get on this gifted kid, because I had a talk with a gift friend that I have. She's a girl. She ain't gifted. And out of nowhere, she started talking about Black Lives Matter and all the stuff her teacher is teaching her. Like, and I'm trying to talk to her, and she's screaming over me. Like, this is a complete libtard. Like, she's screaming over me, but she's gifted. That lets me know my whole theory about school is right. And this is another thing about school. We letting strangers raise our kids, but then get mad when a stranger don't do every single thing we want for them to do for our kids. Like, teachers are strangers. And in public schools, 1 out of 10 child is going to get, like, raped or something by a teacher. I remember seeing that on the news a few years ago. Teacher was groping the kid's breast, and now the kids come out and, talk to their parents about it and call the police. Like, this is so stupid. This wouldn't happen if the state allows people to raise their own kids. But that's what they do. And every time, because I still got the Thomas Sowell book of economics, every time the government gets involved with something, they make it worse. You see this in Napoleon Bonaparte's system, with his system where he didn't want no trade with Britain. He just made it worse. And now he's stumped. Now you got to go invade Russia, get beat and all that. That's the whole thing with Napoleon. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about with school. But next I'm going to talk about my teacher in school. So she's talking about to me, Aiden, I don't trust white people. I don't hate them, but I don't trust them. And in my head, I'm like, that's still racist. But that day I didn't want to argue with her. Nowadays I don't argue with her. Like, we agree on some things, like the government should have less state power and other things like that. But she's 40. Old people really don't really like the government. But she's pro-black, Africa, all that. She got that Africa thing in her, like, little earring. It's so stupid to me. Like, we're not African. I mean, it's so stupid. And then when people call me, you're African Americans, no, I didn't. My great grandpa fought in World War II. He fought for this nation, not for Africa. We're not African. But that's what they want to be called, because you have people like Malcolm X, because I don't really like Malcolm X, We have people like Michael X on that old Africa stuff. Oh, I don't got my last name. The white man this. Like, that stuff to me is stupid. It's like, it's stupid. You're not African. Africans have a different culture than Black Americans. And Black Americans are culturally Southerner. Like, all this whole culture, this is redneck culture that traces back to Great Britain. But they simply call themselves African, and it's stupid. But what's your thoughts on that, ABL?
Well, there's a lot there, so you got to ask a specific question.
About the whole African American thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was a term that was created in the 80s by Jesse Jackson, because before that, it was color or Negro or something like that. So he decided in 1988 to call us African American, but I don't remember having a vote on that. I didn't. Nobody asked me, but I wanted to be called. So that whole thing doesn't make any sense. I think I'm not African.
Yeah.
If anybody were to be called African American, if anybody were to be, it'd be guys like Elon Musk, who come from South Africa and then immigrated to America later.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because he sound weird, and I'm thinking, oh, you a little bit British, sir? When he's talking,
yeah, South Africa.
Words.
Yep.
Wow, I did not know that about Elon Musk. But yeah, that's the collectivization with Black people. They don't want actual real individuals. They want us all to be collectivization. Like I said with my teacher the other times on your live stream, looking at me like, you do know you're a Black man, right? That's what they do. If you support another person, they come in their mind thinking, okay, you're not being Black because you're not sagging your pants, talking ghetto. You're not Black to them. This is what we have. Like, I live in a hood, like Little Haiti in Liberty City, Miami. I have a teacher because I had to go to summer school. I was doing stupid things, being disrespectful to the teacher. That was like 6th, 7th grade. But I had to go to summer school. I had a teacher talking about how people gun down people, like gangbangers, gun people down right in front of her lawn. Like, geez, like shot right there.
It's crazy,
and she didn't say nothing to the police. Didn't say nothing, no snitching, no nothing. And that's the type of thing. They have this no snitching culture. So if you snitch, you getting bad. That's a wrap for your life, sir. That's how it is. They don't like I say with your army to God. Who appointed you to speak for all Black people? You know, who appointed any of these people to speak for every single Black person in America? This is Jim Crow on steroids, like Joe Biden said. This man, Joe Biden, is a clear racist. Nobody says nothing about him. But enough about him. Like, these people.
Okay, but caller. I mean, I don't mean to cut you, man. It's been a good call, but I got more calls on the line, man. So I thank you for the call.
Yeah, my bad.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
God bless you.
All right, now.
God bless y'all people in the chat.
All right, peace.
All
right. Shout out to my young caller. Boys, 15 years old. Shout out to all the young people watching the show. I appreciate you guys and girls. You know, I don't want to assume your gender. All right, let me get to the next one. 952, you on the line. Who am I speaking to? Okay, but caller. I mean, I'm in the
Hello?
Yes, you're on the line.
Oh, this is Cynthia.
All righty, what's going on?
It's ABL?
It is.
Hi. Okay, so I'm a newer listener, but I'm a big fan. I actually want to bring up, I love your, Back to Blue and like Back in the Firefighters merch. I actually work for a law firm that represents the police and firefighters. Actually, in the Minneapolis area, I represent all the cops that left Minneapolis due to PTSD and whatnot.
Oh.
And so I'd love to see that support. So let me just tell you, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Additionally, I was going to ask you, so I love what you're doing with your channel. Like, I want to support as many, other creators and whatnot. I'm just trying to stray away from like mainstream media. But what do you think is kind of like a solution to, I guess, the current climate of mainstream media is completely run by the left and us on the right? Like, we don't really have a chance to like voice our opinion and we're shut down. Like, what do you think we should be doing to get our voices heard?
Well, I mean, I think what people like myself are doing is a big way, because these channels, this stuff on YouTube, it makes waves all over the place. I'm seeing more and more people on mainstream media, television, radio, etc. They're trying to do what we do. They're trying to come more onto YouTube. They're trying to be like us because they understand that the newer generation, they're watching us. The older generation, they're still watching television a lot. That's what they grew up on, is what they know. But the kids and people that are younger than like 55, they're more on the internet. So they understand that they have to have a real natural and organic presence online, or else they're not going to be relevant anymore. Newspapers are pretty much dead. Radio is dying. So we're on we're like on the frontier. We're like kind of blazing the trail. So we have to make this space be a lot more for us. And I think that really it goes to tackling big tech. That's going to be the battle for the future. Not so much television and radio, but big tech. That's going to be the next battle.
Absolutely. Do you think there's a lot we could do? I mean, I know there's a previous caller that kind of mentioned like on the federal level with laws and whatnot, like what can we do to be changing it and like to kind of protect the creators and protect, you know, anyone from being deplatformed. Like, I mean, you look at like Donald Trump or even like Steven Crowder, who quoted the CDC and was kicked off YouTube. Like, what should we be looking to, I guess, like federally and in like the law, should we be looking to change it in some way?
Well, there's already a law that exists, but it must be enforced. And
absolutely,
I'll explain it for those that don't know. Now, to make a long story short, you have an act called the CDA, and in that act is called Section 230. Now, Section 230 says that if you are a social media platform and you have users that upload their own information, their own data or whatever, the platform itself will not be liable for lawsuit. So here's an example. Let's say I have a Twitter account, which I do, and I upload something illegal to Twitter. Twitter is not going to be in trouble. Twitter won't be sued, but I might be in trouble and I might get sued because I was the guy that did it. I am the user. Twitter's not at fault because Twitter's not responsible. Twitter's not curating the content. They're not posting the content themselves. It's an open platform where everybody can upload anything. There's moderation, of course, but if a thing gets uploaded and it shouldn't be and it's illegal, it's not Twitter's fault. Now, if they repeal Section 230, then Twitter would be responsible for everything. Now, the problem with Twitter right now and other places is that they're violating that law because they're curating content. Oh, I don't like that they put over there. I'm going to go ahead and remove that. I don't like this. I'm going to remove that. And then they have this trending topics list where they curate the topics. So it's like, all right, you're supposed to be an open platform. That's why you have the legal protection, because if I upload something, it's not your fault. But then when you upload things, when you change things as Twitter, now you're starting to be more like a publisher. You become like a newspaper. And if you're a newspaper or a magazine or something like that, if you upload a thing or change a thing yourself, now you're responsible. So I think if we start to enforce that law, things would change. But I'm not really sure what else can be done on a federal level as far as the law.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, like, how could they even be enforcing it? Like, other than, you know, I mean, the federal government, they've had those hearings with, you know, Jack Dorsey and Zuckerberg and whatnot, but nothing's actually ever come from it.
Yeah, the hearings won't do anything.
Can they even enforce the laws?
The hearings won't do anything. That's kind of a dog and pony. What has to be done is the people that are responsible for enforcing it just got to do it. I mean, they have the power to do it. They just got to do it. That's pretty much it. I'm not really sure what can be done to force the law enforcement arm that's responsible for that to do their job. I'm not really sure. I think that might be just about leadership. So maybe that's going to be something that we can address in future administrations as far as the presidency, to appoint proper leaders in the federal government.
Absolutely. Well, all right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
Yep. Bye.
All righty. Yeah, talk radio. Yeah, talk radio is cool. But really, right, like you, and quite frankly, out of all the social media platforms that exist, YouTube is the most open. Facebook I hate Facebook completely. Facebook, anytime I try to get some traction on Facebook, I've not had success with Facebook in the years I've been on there. I've not had success. Moderate success at best. Moderate success. But YouTube has been good to me. Twitter has been okay. And quite frankly, Twitter is not really a player. It's a player in a social media space, but not really. Twitter is like right along the lines of Quora. Is that what it's called? Quora. It's like right along the lines of that as far as popularity. Reddit is a bigger social media platform than Twitter. Twitter is like lower on the totem pole. The big dogs are YouTube and Facebook, with Facebook being an overwhelming leader because Facebook has Facebook.com, which is a leader by itself overwhelmingly. Then you have Instagram, which is also Facebook, WhatsApp, which is also Facebook. All of that is like the big dog. Then YouTube. YouTube is also a giant search engine, the number 2 in the world, right behind Google. And Google also owns YouTube. So you see all these kind of things, they connect together. Google, Facebook, YouTube, all of that kind of connects in different ways. Twitter is low on the totem pole. But the best place, really, in my opinion, is YouTube. Other places maybe could kind of come up. Some of them, but you have YouTube clones that don't do as well as YouTube. There needs to be a new and different type of platform to come in and take over. TikTok is starting to be, TikTok is actually beyond Twitter as far as users, but TikTok is kind of dangerous because it's run by China. Trump was trying to ban it, and they've not changed what they do. Understand this, China is going to look at every single, all your data, everything is going straight to the Chinese Communist Party. Now, I know your data right here is kind of being examined and whatnot to a certain extent by the government, but not by China. But TikTok, if you got TikTok, if you have an account on TikTok, they got all that in China right now, straight to Beijing. All right. All right, I call you online. I'm speaking to 207.
Hey, it's Matt from Maine. How are you?
Oh, great. How about yourself?
First time, not too bad. First time caller. So I've been listening tonight. Kind of a new listener to your channel here, and I just wanted to get your opinion on about the Joe Biden, about him groping little girls and touching and kissing and all that stuff. I just wanted to hear your opinion on that.
Well, I think that everybody knows that Joe Biden is a creep, and he's been like that for a very long time. So there's nothing new there.
Right. Right. Well, I don't know. I see videos and look at stuff, and I see just people don't realize what he's doing. People don't know it, you know. It's not publicized. It's not put on the media.
Well, no, they don't want to show anything like that. They don't want to, because they want to make Joe Biden appear to be some kind of great guy, virtuous guy, you know, good old Uncle Joe. But they don't want to talk about creepy Uncle Joe. They don't want to talk about molester Uncle Joe.
Right. Yeah, that's all I wanted to touch on. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody talk about it tonight, so I just wanted to call and touch base with it. So.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Have a good night.
All righty. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, definitely. Creepy Joe is a whole big mess for sure. But again, they don't want to talk about that. That's not a thing they really want to, you know, they don't really want to get into that. So it is what it is, though. Let's get to some more. The number to call, 434-658-1220. 805, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hi, ABL. This is Cassandra in California.
All righty. What's going on?
Well, nothing. It seems like a lot of your callers are all on the same page and really, really want you to reach out to George, Greg Foreman, the Black Conservative Perspective. So
okay.
Really want you to reach out. Yeah. And I guess everybody's talking about climate change tonight. And it gets aggravating that people have like all these preconceived notions about Republicans and climate change. It's not that we don't believe that we, to a certain effect, obviously have effect on the environment. But once again, the left goes extreme on everything. And as conservatives, like, people think we don't care about the environment. It's like, no, we're just not willing to tear up the environment to put up a bunch of ugly solar panels and windmills. Like, that's going to take up a lot of land, you know, and it's not effective. Like, I mean, what do you do for our weather? Like, Alaska's in the dark how many hours, you know, a day for half the year? You know, it snows in the north. We have hurricanes and tornadoes constantly. When you get to the south, like, how can all that stuff withstand it? Like, we're not going to displace all the animals in the forest Like, none of this stuff is environmentally sound. So, I mean, fossil fuels, as much as they want to be dramatic about it, like, that is our best resource right now. And especially since we have our own pipelines, we're not going to be risking polluting the ocean as much. We can control any kind of leaks that are better. Like, this is our best option right now. And climate change obviously has been happening since the beginning of time, since we were ever here. Like, you know, that weird guy, like, putting his faith in Bill Gates, like, that's a God complex. We do not listen to disturbing God complex guys that want to control population, control the weather. That is disturbing. Like, that is scary. And especially for us more religiously based people, like, you know, that is out of our control. Like, God determines at the end of the day, like, how long the earth is here. So at the end of the day, that's out of our hands. That's God's determination, not ours. So, I mean, but we're not going to destroy our forests and our land for a bunch of solar panels. Like, I don't know if environmentalists ever calculated how many solar panels and windmills it would actually take to run a nation this size with this much population.
Right. Nah, of course not. They're not going to talk about how much energy it takes, how much fossil fuel it takes to create one solar panel, and what the payoff is going to be. It's going to take many, many years to get back what you put into it. The cost, and like you said, the environmental damage. You got to clear out land. Same thing with the windmills. These blades fly off, and they're killing birds. It's a mess. People don't think about stuff like that. It just kind of get caught up in a lot of the talk from the climate change alarmists.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw, because I didn't see it, but you know, with King Randall, the school board actually has been messing with him this whole time.
Yeah, I've been seeing that. It's gonna be an uphill battle for him to try to get that accomplished. He may try to do like a homeschool network or something like that. He needs to be. He's gonna have to be very creative to get this whole thing off the ground. But he'll be able to do it. People are backing him. He has a lot of faith. People have faith in him as well, so he'll be able to do it. But you know, you're in a place like that, the school board, they want to maintain power. They don't want you to do anything beyond them. But he'll be able to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, if he had more money, he wouldn't even need the school board, especially if he runs it as a private school. But it's unfair of them to put that kind of stipulation in the contracts and stuff. You know, you're selling a school to somebody and you're telling them they can't use it as a school. And this is the kind of thing that makes me angry about, like, you know, Killer Mike's so loud and angry, and he's up there in Atlanta. He'll go all over the country for Bernie Sanders, but he can't go 10 miles to Albany and fight for this kid and make a big stink for him. But he'll go all over the United States fighting for socialism for Bernie Sanders.
Right.
You know, and he's somebody that should be there. LeBron James is somebody that should be there. But all these people, once again, crickets when it's an actual legitimate thing that could help the community and, you know, obviously save a bunch of black kids, you know, and, you know, they're nowhere to be found, you know, and it's just disgusting.
Right on, right on. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep, thank you.
All right, no problem.
Bye.
All right, let's get to some more here. 346 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh my goodness. Hey, ABL. Sorry, I'm very nervous. I just wanted to call and say thank you. I am a newly red pilled, I guess you could say, young lady. I was a liberal my whole life, even before I knew what the word liberal was, and felt really pressured by, you know, my community and in Portland and my family to just kind of blindly believe and follow, you know, what they told me. And you were really the first, you know, I was just kind of curious one day and searching on YouTube about, it was just something about like BLM, and one of your videos came up and just started watching. And then, you know, 3 hours later, I'm still watching your videos, and, you know, through you found some other creators and just really have felt for the first time like I have clear vision and seeing things the way that they actually are. So I've found like a newfound confidence in being able to, be more honest and open with my family about what I believe and what I think, which was super scary at first. But really just wanted to say thank you for what you do. It absolutely does impact people. And I was someone who my whole life said, I will never think conservatively. I'll never, go against what my family said. So just wanted to take some time and say that I really appreciate what you're doing and think you're awesome and love the way that you, share your message and information with the world. So keep doing what you're doing, ABL. It really makes a huge difference. And I really, really appreciate you.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Of course. I hope you have a wonderful night.
All right, now, same to you.
Bye.
Great call. I appreciate everybody that, is watching, people that are, having some epiphanies. I really, really, really do appreciate that. It means a lot to me. It lets me know that what I'm saying is working. So shout out to all you guys. 731, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's Robert Cobb. How you doing?
Everything's all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm a first time caller, and I've been watching you for a while now. But I just want to say,
Hold on, caller. I got the feedback in the background. Can you turn the speakers down for me?
Yeah, I'm trying to get this muted right here if I can.
Okay.
Hang on just a second. Let's turn it off. Yeah. Okay. How's that? Is that better?
All right, we good to go.
Do what?
I'm sorry, no, we're good. We're good. So what were you saying?
All right. Yeah, man. I just want to say, how much I appreciate you and how much sense you got. Just when I listen to you, I live in West Tennessee, and I'm a small town, and it seems like with me, when I get out personally, and I'm around a lot of black people, and it's not like it's a big deal. We're just I meet black people in the stores all the time. I go up to them, we talk, and it's not like it's a problem, and I don't know why all this stuff is getting stirred up all the time. I just like the other day, I went into the store, and this little lady, she pulled out in front of me and with the carts, and she said, "Excuse me," and I said, "Oh, I didn't know. I was going to fix and run over you." And later on, we met up in the back of the store, and we got to talking, and all, I bet we sat back here and talked for 30 minutes about all these issues going on and everything. Before it was over with, we ended up giving each other a hug, and telling how much we respect each other and love each other, and that's the way it is, I just don't understand how people can have so much hate and just a lot of them. I guess I don't know if it's the politics behind it or just what, but it's just, I don't know. I don't see what's going on. What in a small town where I'm from, I don't see it like that. I know with the issues at one time we were, they was tearing down all these statues and stuff. And I got a real good friend of mine that's a, black guy. I mean, one of the best friends I've got. And, I was talking to him about it, and I told him, I said, look, if that is something that really bothers you, if this is something that people are doing that just stir up trouble, then I think that's crazy. But if that's something that really bothers you, then, all you'd have to do is tell me, and I would vote to take it down. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I feel about it. But I don't know. It's just sad the way our country's going and how I think people are just stirring it up racial tensions just for their own political advantages, I guess, is what it is.
Yeah, it's really a mess, but I feel like most people are just, they're not really into it. They're just average people. You talk to them, and it's fine.
Yeah.
They're not going to really be in this political stuff. It's just regular people. You talk to them about issues that are going on, things that are happening, how's their day been, and they're going to talk to you like normal. It's not this really big, weird thing like the media wants to make it sound like.
That's what I think too. I try to look at people as people, and everybody's different. Our cultures may have differences, but that's what makes America is all these people coming from different parts of the world. That's what makes America great. All our cultures are blended together. But that don't make us racist because I say that a certain culture does this or does that. I don't understand that. That's just I think that all the different cultures that the people have brought all over the world, that's what made America great.
That's right. Right on.
But anyway, I've been trying to call you for a long time now, not the first time I got you, but I just want to say what a great guy you are, and I think a lot of you, and you, man, just about everything you ever was to say, I agree with you 100%. It just takes some common sense, and I don't think people's got common sense anymore.
You're right. You're right about that. That's definitely a thing. Let's bring that back. Bring common sense back again.
Yeah. Well, common sense today is uncommon.
That's right. Exactly.
But anyway, I won't keep you out. But I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you and how much I enjoy your channel and how much I enjoy listening to you and just how smart you are. I mean, and you're just a real smart guy, and that's just you see right through these people. I just don't see why others can't. But anyway, you have a great day, and I'm glad I got to talk to you, and maybe I'll catch you some other time.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You're welcome, man. Have a great day. God bless you, man.
All right, now. All right, great call. Shout out to my man for the call. All right, let's get to some more here. All right. I had one right there, but I was a little bit too slow to the trigger. Let me try to get to 770. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi. Hang on just a moment, Anthony. Let me turn my volume off.
All righty.
I can figure out how to do this. Hi. Can you hear me?
I hear you well. What's going on?
Okay, let's see. Okay. My name is Karen. I am in the Atlanta area. I'm a teacher. And first, I want to thank you for your listening abilities and skills and your politeness, and always being respectful to all the callers, no matter their opinion.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm 68 years old. I am a teacher in the public school system. We only went back to work to the building about a month ago. And I've been working online from home. I was appalled when I'm a special education teacher in the general curriculum education realm, and I pushed into a room to observe a student whose parent had asked for them to go into special education. And I was appalled that our curriculum, our social studies curriculum, had the teacher doing a lesson on Black Lives Matter and the difference between peaceful protests and riots. And I was amazed. I submitted my resignation because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. But anyway, I'll move on to the next subject. As far as climate change and the movement of one of your callers talking about the North Pole, South Pole, moving it around, that's all about plate tectonics. I mean, that has been going on since forever. That is how God made our world, and it is just unbelievable to me that they don't teach that in school anymore, hardly. Maybe until you get to middle school. Your caller, that I wanted to make this other point, that your young caller, all that he was talking about, your 15-year-old caller, that all that he was talking about was that all these points about the educational system and how it is so skewed now in our times. I can remember at my age, and I've always lived here in the Atlanta area, and I can remember how my dad, who was in World War II, said, look at this. Nikita Khrushchev, who was the president of the USSR at that time, before it was called Russia, that's when the Iron Curtain was still there, the Berlin Wall, and the Cold War was going on. I was just a little child. And Nikita Khrushchev said, and my dad said, Red China. That's what they used to call the Communist Chinese Party, Red China. My dad would say, watch this. He says, they say they are going to take over our country without ever firing a shot. They are going to debate race against race, culture against culture, status or rich against poor. They are going to divide parents against children, children against parents, and they are going to take us down without ever firing a shot, and we'll be happy. It is really, I don't know if you're not old enough to remember that, but, and my mother used to say that she would base it on biblical. I'm a Christian, of course. I'm in the Bible Belt. I'm in the South, and in the Atlanta area. I've always been here, like I said. But my mother used to say, "There's just one of us here. He's the vine, and we're the branches." She based that on scripture from John 15:5. But anyway, I'm loving you from here, and I'm sending all good things to you and your family and all of your listeners. I love you. I listen to you when I can, and I'm going to hang up. And if you have any comments about what I've said, thank you very much for taking my call.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
All right, great call. One thing I'm going to say about the education system is definitely changed from yesteryear. 1 + 1 used to equal 2. It used to be very simple. You say 1 + 1 is 2. Now you got to explain why 1 + 1 is 2. You got to talk about why the one feels the way it feels and why it identifies as one is crazy. I want to call you online. I'm speaking to 310.
Yes, this is Jonathan from California.
All right, man. What's going on?
Hey, I was watching a program today, and I was thinking about how the political commentators I watch on YouTube, mainly on the right, they're talking about leaving these liberal states like California and going to places like Texas and Tennessee and Florida. And I'd like to get your opinion on something. If you think that, instead of saying leave the state, we should say to register to vote and get your friends to vote and your family to vote. And, what we can do is we could actually make a change, because we should keep California. We should keep these states, and we should keep people there and get them to fight for their state. Because what they're doing when they move to Tennessee, when they move to Florida, is all they're doing is they're looking for a place where they don't have to do as much, and they just let the laws change into more liberal, and like what's happening in Austin. And I think more we should do is push people to fight, push people to register to vote, push people to educate their family. And that way we might be able to get these states back. And I'd just like to know your opinion on that.
I mean, you got a good point, but see, the thing is, that message needed to be heard and practiced years ago. California is lost. California is done. It's, if you say we got to keep California, that implies that we have it. It's been gone for a very long time. So the only thing left you have, really, unfortunately, at this point, is to leave. It's just like people, they left parts of Europe. They left communist place. They left, Yugoslavia and USSR and places like that because it was gone. What are you going to do? Now, maybe at one point when things fall apart, you can come in and take back what is California now. You can take that back and make it be something else. But as of right now, the work that should have been done years ago was not done. And here we are today with California being in the mess. But I do understand what you're saying. You should be wanting to fight for it. But at a certain point, it's like the horse is dead and you're beating it for no reason.
So you make a good point, and I understand where you're coming from. So my next question would be to you: do you really believe that these states are gone for? That, I mean, it's that dire that it's really like get out before, the place burns down? You could point to like the homelessness and the liberals running amok with the state. But do you really think it's that dire? Do you really think, instead of going to your neighbors and saying, hey, let's try to register to vote and let's turn this place around, we should go to our neighbors and our friends and our family and say, hey, let's get the heck out of here?
It's that bad. Like the thing about California, I just want to be clear to anybody who's living in California. You can live in California and be in peace depending upon where you are. I mean, if you're not in LA or San Fran, you can live in peace. Now, you're going to have very high gas prices. You might have a hard time finding a place to live because of the high cost of living, depending upon, where you are. It might be very costly to try and buy a house, but you can live in relative peace depending upon where you are. But the state as a whole, there was a law change where it's not even a felony anymore to knowingly expose someone to HIV. If you're living in a big city like San Fran or Los Angeles, it's not really a big deal to shoot heroin out in public. The homeless problem is not a homeless problem. The homeless problem is a drug problem disguised as a homeless problem. And the drug addicts are enabled. So with that going on, what can you really do? And then people that are there are supporting it overwhelmingly. Look at the way that the state votes. From what we know, if the results are accurate and everything's right, look at the way the state votes all the time. Some places, some parts of the state are not like that, but overwhelmingly it is. And that's why they're losing seats in the House, because people are leaving. They see what's going on, and it's an overwhelming fight. And you might be fighting that fight for your whole life, and it never changes, or it won't change in a meaningful way. Or you could just move somewhere else and live a good life and not spend the good years of your life trying to fight a losing battle.
Do you think it's a viable option? Like, I believe you mentioned Oregon. There's certain counties that want to secede and move to the neighboring state. Do you think that would be a viable option for maybe certain counties in these liberal states, if they're on a border with another state, to try to get together and say, hey, instead of moving out, instead of trying to flip the state, let's secede, let's have our county secede? Do you think that's a viable option, or do you think that's kind of pie in the sky, talking?
It could be viable. Like if you live up there in Northern California, like in the place when they call Jefferson, that's possibly viable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what the process is that you got to go through to have that happen. But if certain counties want to secede and become part of Oregon or become their own state, that's definitely viable. That would be something I would see happening more. I would see that happening before you change the politics of California as a state. I would see you breaking away and becoming part of Oregon or becoming your own state before California as a state changing, for sure.
Okay. And last question for you. Do you think that places like bastions of, conservatism, like maybe Texas and Tennessee and Florida, do you think if we go on this track of, leave California to its devices, do you think that there's also the possibility that states secede out or states break away from the union? Do you think that's possible as well?
I'm not really sure. I guess it could be, but I don't really see that happening. I don't really see that going on. I think before they break away, I think states still have a lot of rights beyond what the federal government can make them do. So I don't really see that happening. But I definitely see certain states breaking apart and staying in the union, like California. I definitely see that happening.
Hey, I really love your show, man. Appreciate what you're doing. Just found you recently, and I'm telling everyone to watch your show, try to get your views up, and try to get you more subscribers. And I hope that you keep doing what you're doing, and I really do hope that you run for some kind of office one day, because you would definitely have my vote. I know you don't live in California, but if I decide to leave, maybe one day I wind up where you're at, and I could vote for you one day. So keep it up.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye.
All right. Shout out to all the calls tonight. If I couldn't get you on, it's not my fault. You got to blame the white man, but you guys have been a great audience. To talk about California right quick before I get to the last super chats and the wrapping up of the show. If you're living in California, you could live a good life out there and be fine, but it's going to be different. Try to buy the gas. You paying $5 a gallon. You're paying European prices out there. Meanwhile, I was mad today. I filled up my truck paying, what was that, like $270 or something like that. I was heated. Imagine filling up a Toyota Tundra, a truck that gets like 16 miles to the gallon on a good day. If I drive all interstate miles, I'm going to get 16 miles to the gallon. It's really bad. With a big tank that extended like a 38 gallon, like fill that up with gas that costs $5 a gallon. You'd be spending a whole stimulus check every time you fill up at the pump. So it's bad. I think a viable option would be breaking it apart and avoiding the big city areas at all costs. Don't go to San Fran. Don't go to LA. Live far out. Live in the Inland Empire, Orange County. That's kind of close to LA, but it's far enough away to not be LA. Not in LA County. Live in the good parts and focus on the good parts and try to make those good. But trying to make the entire state be different than what it is, trying to make the entire state be what the whole left coast, including Oregon and Washington or not, is going to be an uphill battle. You be fighting that your whole life and be unsuccessful. All right, a little over $3 a gallon in, what's that, in Michigan? Yeah, $2.70. I was heated because just recently it was like $1 and some change. $1.50, $1.75. But now all of a sudden it's $2.70. And I feel like $3 is right around the corner. New Jersey, $3.40 a gallon. It's crazy. 100%. Yeah, you buying a whole PlayStation 5 game with tax every time you fill up. And you doing that every week or more than one time a week. Is it getting bad in the Inland Empire too? See, now it's spreading. See, that's something else about California is that it spreads. It's like a disease. LA is the center of it, right? And then they spread out. Oh, LA's too bad. And then they want to go to IE. Then they want to go to San Diego. They want to go further and further out to the point where even the areas that are good become bad. Michael says the problem with living far out towns in California is that the jobs are in San Fran or LA. Exactly. That's the problem. That is the issue. And if the jobs are out there, you got a very high cost of living. So you got to have those jobs out there close to those cities. So you got to kind of go to LA and be packed like sardines. 10 million people in LA County by itself, not even including the surrounding counties like Orange County. Ridiculous. Oh, and the electricity costs, all that stuff, it's just through the roof. And then you have, the earthquakes and the fires and all that. Heat waves. It's a mess. All right. Yeah, it is over, Doug Ripley. It is over. So thank y'all for being here. You guys are the best audience on the internets. I appreciate you guys for joining. If you enjoyed the content tonight, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Also, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. If you're not subscribed yet, I don't know what the reason is. I don't know what I got to do to get you to subscribe, but go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now. It's 100% free. And Doug says 1 more hour. I can't do it, man. I got to go, man. I got to be on a tight schedule. All right. I got super chats on deck, and then I'm wrapping on up. Shout out to the mods for being here. You guys are doing a great job as always, keeping them trolls in check. I appreciate it. Let me see. Boat versus Windshield says makers of the vax cannot be sued for side effects, but do you think an employer already read that one? Thank you to Don who says, yeah, no thanks. I'm not a lab rat. Shout out to Bearbait who says, shout out to the drunk callers. We love you. We still love you. Heart emoji. Bearbait also says 10 years ago, all we heard was about the hole in the ozone layer is getting bigger. I haven't heard anything about it since. I guess it's fixed. Exactly. I guess it just fixed itself overnight. You woke up in the morning. Oh, it's cool. Oh, okay, cool. Let's move on. Thank you to No One who says, some of the listeners that call in are so cringy. Sometimes I think they may be paid trolls. Kudos for your patience. I really wish I could screen calls for your brother. Oh, it's all good, man. Thank you for that. Thank you to WJ Valente who says, climate change may or may not be real, but what is the solution? Carbon credits, pure insanity. Exactly. Thank you to Apple who says, check out Mark Moreno book and movie called Climate Hustle. Also, climate change is a hoax and a scam. And do you agree with Al Sharpton? We was kings. The whole we was kings argument is so silly because if we were kings and who were the subjects, everybody can't be a king. How that make sense? And what were the kings doing with their subjects? Were they selling them for slave? But I don't want to go down there. So I digress. Mansa Musa, that's what he did, right? He was richest man ever. They called him a king, all this and that. But what was his chief thing that he did? Sold slaves and what they said he did, he walked or had a caravan from like West Africa, like at the base of the Sahara. He would go to places like Timbuktu, which was a slave port, because it's right there at the base of the Sahara. You go all the way across to the Ottoman Empire and sell your slaves right there. That's how you make the money. But I'll move on. Thank you to Angel who says, hey, ABL, you can't feed millions of people without using fossil fuels, and you can't win the war without fossil fuels. That will be true 10 years from now. Right on. Shout out to MAGA Maniac for the number one fan emoji. Thank you to Lucian Poe who says, an ex-Satanist high wizard met with Bill Gates in a Bilderberg meeting about 15 years ago. The topic of discussion, reducing the human population. Love your show, Anthony. Take care. Thank you for that. And I've not seen the ex-Satanist, all that kind of stuff. I don't know about that. I just take your word for it. But what I did see was Bill Gates. I think it might have been the TED Talk or something. We was talking about reducing the human population. Oh, there's too many people. He said that. So, I mean, if that's his objective and he said it on TV, then why wouldn't he try to still achieve that objective by doing things that you may not even know about? Shout out to Chevy Arthur for your donation. Thank you to Leo who says, Do you remember Captain Planet and the Planeteers? Oh yeah, Captain Planet. I remember that. Global warming is a farce. I do agree with the weather changes, but not man-made. Yeah, weather changes all the time. It's called seasons. And, fluctuations in the sun and the planet, that's always going to happen. You've had an ice age and you've had a heat wave. That's always going to be how it is. You have an ice age and the ice age ends, so it gets real cold and gets real hot. Thank you to Side Burns 51 who says cuz. Also, Butt versus Windshield who says 8 counties in Eastern Oregon have passed a referendum to make their leaders vote on leaving Oregon and joining Idaho. Slim chance, but fingers crossed. That could happen. That most certainly could happen. Thank you to Theo Francis 3.0 who says, sorry, Officer Tatum, congrats on getting married. You put the good work. Hey, thank you for that. I appreciate you. Yeah, I was on Tatum's show. What was that? Thursday. Yeah. We'll be on there whenever we get a chance. So shout out to my brother Brandon Tatum, and shout out to my wife as well. She keep the tea on that nice and hot. And she does a lot behind the scenes you guys won't see. Definitely somebody that has been great for me. You're So Cool 23 says public service announcement: hand sanitizer is for bacteria, not viruses. Just saying. But it's fine though. You gotta, put the hand sanitizer on your hands. It's not gonna help with the virus, but it makes you feel better. The little tingle from the alcohol makes you feel nice and safe, like a little comfort blanket, right? Thank you to Harry Bitenski who says, glad you're still fighting the good fight. No problem. Thank you to Frank Dest who says, Joy Reid is deeply troubled. She's racist against black and white. Yeah, just kind of a miserable person in general. Overall, that's what Joy Ann Reid is. From MS13 DNC. Thank you to Sherlock Hemlock who says, ABL, thank you very much for your excellent analysis and helpful explanations. You are the best and give us all hope. Very proud American. Thank you. Thank you to Alexander Shabilsky who says, hey, Anthony, the caller speaking about a KGB agent is referring to Yuri Bezmenov. There is an old lecture of his on YouTube about fifth generational warfare and corrupting liberal democracies. Yeah, I've seen that a lot. So shout out to Yuri Bezmenov, ex-KGB. If you've not seen that, then you got to see it. Thank you to Charles Turner Jr. who says, ABL, I do want to point out some good talk radio hosts. Ken Matthews, Central Pennsylvania, Todd Herman, Washington State, Idaho, Brett Winterbull, North Carolina, Jason Lewis, Minnesota, Mark Stein, New Hampshire, Larry Elder, LA, California, all good. Right on. Thank you to Hydra who says, these women callers are why we need to abolish 19th. All women operate from emotions. I didn't say it. He said I'm rating the super chat. Thank you to WJ Valente who said, check out Zachary Denman, fake alien invasion. Notice the coverage in the news. I guess it's no longer cookie talk. Also, not cookie talk anymore, saying that the virus was created in the lab. How is it news that the virus was created in the lab? I thought we all knew that back in March 2020. Why is it all of a sudden news now? We all knew that back then. But I guess the media didn't want to admit it. Now they are admitting it. It's like, you're about 15 months too late, sir. Anyway. Thank you to Don Yarley who says, never forget the brave men that died so we can have these wonderful barbecues. Right on. Yeah. Shout out to everybody that has paid the ultimate price for us to have this nation that we have today. So remember that on Memorial Day, you eating your hot dog burnt on the top with a little bit of relish and ketchup and whatnot. When you're eating that hot dog, chowing down on your hamburger or whatever, remember why you're able to do that. Those that have fought and died for this nation on this great Memorial Day coming up on Monday. Thank you to Lewis from Spain who says, you could design a polo shirt with red stripes and the stars on the shoulder one, like a whole U.S. flag would be the coolest thing ever. Hey, I could do that. Thank you to Sonia Scrapbook who says, hey, ABL, will you be doing more Instagram and live impromptu sessions in the future? Those are fun. Yeah, I'm a do my best to just carve some time out to do it because time is just so valuable, right? But I'm going to try to really get that back rocking and rolling. I definitely enjoy those. And shout out to Doug who says, ABL, one more hour. Hey, man, I ain't going to be able to do it. Like I said, I got to get on up out of here. But thank you guys for joining the live tonight. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. Follow me everywhere. Follow me on the Instagram, instagram.com/Anthony B. Logan, twitter.com/Anthony B. Logan. What else? Facebook.com. Although Facebook sucks, I'm still there. 1776 Logan, Anthony B. Logan, the website, anthonyblogan.com, ablmerch.com. All my sponsors in the description box, Mr1920.com, BC Designs, Patriot Post, all you guys, thank y'all. And shout out to Boat vs. Windshield for the thank you emoji. Thank you for what you do. Couldn't do it without you. But that'll be a wrap for me. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.